Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Collecting Profit, a very special show for Anthony and I.
Right.
This is episode number 52. So this is
Yep.
basically the last show of our first year of doing this, and gotta say I can't believe it's 52 already, buddy. I don't know about
I
you,
know.
but I can't believe we've been getting on here every single week and talking about the hobby for
Yeah,
52
time
weeks
flies
in
when
a
you're
row, bro. I just don't.
What's up, Alan?
Hey, Alan. So, what do you got to say, Anthony?
Time flies when you're having fun, man. It's been an honor and a privilege doing this with you every week. It's been a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
fun, and it's been nice building a community out of it, and getting to see similar names every week. And it's like we get to do this with them, so
Yep.
I feel like it's more than just our thing, which is cool. With your idea to open it up for everybody this evening and
We got
let
Matt.
everybody be a part of the show.
We got Alan. Yep. Anybody want to come on? The link is up at the top, pinned link. You're more than welcome to come on and everything. But hey, as always, we're gonna talk about all kinds of different stuff. And so, Dusty, how's it going, buddy? How are you?
Hey, Dusty.
So, what do you think about the whole Bowman draft 1-and-1 scandal? I don't know if have you heard about it?
But the stuff getting backdoored.
Yeah, about the guy. Hey, Larkin, how you doing? Yeah, about the guy. Basically, finally, I think it was Fanatics came out, and
Mm-hmm.
they said that the stuff was stolen, and it was amazing that the guy, and they basically said that you know, not 100% sure what happened, how I guess I have to do a whole investigation there. It's funny. The guy went ahead and took everything down right
Mm-hmm.
away, and he also. So the thing is he had a connection in both spots, or actually, he must have had a connection at the printer because supposedly what they were saying is the printer was the one. It was the same one doing Panini and doing,
Mm,
for tops,
yeah.
and he also was getting like to five courtside to five, like green courtside just to five of a whole bunch of basketball players. And he's been, selling them. And it's been going on for a number, like Lawkins says, it's been going on for a number of years. Uh, so I mean, imagine all those people who purchased from him through the
Yeah,
years
it's wild.
and stuff. I mean, you look at that piece right there alone. I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Big John, how you doing? Again,
Hey,
hey,
big bro.
the um, come go ahead and and join us if you would like. Um, but yeah, so man, I don't know, man. I
I
just
couldn't even imagine like having that type of a connection. Like I hear a lot of content creators talk about like the good old boy network. This dude had to have been hooked up with the good old boy network to have that type of connection for multiple years to be backdooring one of ones to fives or whatever and whatnot. So my question is like, and I don't know if this has been like uncovered with any of the videos. I haven't kept up with too much of it just because I've been like crazy busy the past couple days since I've been back in town.
mhm.
Um, but um, oh, Dave, man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Definitely keep you in my prayers. Dave Miller
Oh,
has COVID.
hey
Um,
man,
definitely
get
keep you
better.
praying.
Glad we could help you get through this, buddy.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here. Definitely
appreciate you being here,
appreciate it.
brother.
And holy crick,
Um,
Jason, how you doing? Also,
so
yeah,
what
sorry.
I would ask is, are these cards that have been backdoored, stolen by some form of person that's well connected,
Yep.
have these been replaced, i.e., swept under the rug, or have these just been not in sets at all? You know what I mean? Because we've been seeing a lot of duplicate one of ones come out lately. Like, is this the situation where, what Panini tops, whomever is doing their correlating, and they're like, oh, well, all these one of ones are missing. Like, you think they'd have to know that?
Well,
Like,
from
if I
what
was
I
paying to have things manufactured and literally the best card that each player that is taken could have is gone, like I would notice that right away. Like if any card I'm going to notice is gone is probably the one of one.
Yeah. So I think what happened is somehow somebody stumbled upon this guy, and he basically had what they were saying was 12% of the one of ones listed in his eBay store. And
That's
lo and
insane.
behold, there was one guy, um, there was one of the cards he had. All of a sudden, somebody else had that, and they showed it on like Twitter and stuff. And somebody said, "Hey," I guess the message went back and forth. Was like, "What do you mean? Hey, I just bought this card, or I'm bidding on this card on this website, or so on and so forth, something along those lines." And that led them to him. So, and according
Yeah.
to, I think it was Dan the Card Man, put out one about with Panini's store. I mean, with Fanatics response or something like that about,
Yeah.
or he heard it from one of the other guys on Twitter. I can't remember, but I heard it on his channel that basically these cards were never put into boxes. Now, why were they printed? I don't know if maybe they were printed for the thought process of, um, if one of the other ones gets damaged, they can replace it. I'm not 100% sure, but from that standpoint, but they said that those never made it into the, hey, Rocky. Hey, Craig. Hey, Craig. Hey, Rocky. So according to them, they never made into it. There was something up with them, like Larkin said. they were deemed defective, and I think that's because they had the one of one on the front side rather than the back side like they were supposed to. So they were deemed defective. They were never put in boxes. They were told to be destroyed, but somebody went ahead and said, "I'll take that stack of cards and just put it in my pocket,"
Yep.
you
What up,
know.
Greg?
And go from there. Craig, how you doing? Rocky, hey guys, again, the StreamYard link is in the pinned in the pinned comment up at the top. Anybody wants to join us to help commemorate this 52nd episode, you're more than welcome. So that's what I'm saying. So that's basically what they were saying, is that it really it really should not have gotten out. They were defective. And the telltale sign was that the one of one stamp was on the front side, not the back side.
Yeah, for sure. Jason has a good question. If we've tried the Car Dealer Pro 2.0 yet. I've been trying to today. I need to watch some tutorials because I was just asking Michael. I was like, "Is this supposed to be this difficult?" Like, I literally tried throwing 23 cards in there, and it literally found 0 of 23, and like it didn't even come close to finding any of them. And I'm like, these are all like 1996 cards, so it's like they should definitely be found. So I'm
What
thinking I'm
sports?
doing something wrong. Mainly basketball and football.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, more popular sports. It's not like I'm like trying to upload some badminton or something crazy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I'm thinking maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like just spending 5 minutes talking it over with Michael. Like I'm now realizing I need to remove the wheel of my scanner because. Like, oh my god, it's such a pain in the butt. Like, it's sucking my penny sleeves through, crumpling them up. Like, the scans come out looking like my butthole. Like, it's bad. But yeah, knowing like just little hacks like, hey, there's this little wheel thing that if you open it up, you can just pull it right out, and then you
Yeah.
can slide the penny sleeves through just fine.
Yep.
Like that's
Ron, how
gonna
you
stop me
doing?
from slamming my head on the wall later.
Yep. But getting back to one thing, but Dusty makes a great point about the other thing. It's really
Yeah.
difficult if you have a can and a lighter. Get rid of those
Oh yeah.
cards.
Yeah. True. Very true. I mean, I can understand though. Like, I would imagine for some people, it's probably difficult to, uh, even though you're saying you're destroying them, actually destroying them and seeing that monetary value go to waste. Like, obviously, it's illegal to take them and to put them on eBay and to profit off of them, but clearly that doesn't stop some people. And
Well, and you make a great point there. Hey, Orlando, how you doing? You make a great
Orlando.
point there because people were saying, well, hey, how come, you know, why are we seeing this more now than in the past? Look, people, it's really, really simple. Because in the past, you know, this type of stuff, people necessarily might not risk their jobs or risk their, getting in trouble for $100 card, for $150 card, right? But now, these cards are a lot more expensive. I mean, if that guy had 12 that he had listed, now look, number one, let's be real here, people. You gotta be a flippin' idiot to list all of them at one time. I mean, are you that flippin' stupid to not think that's gonna be a red flag? You know,
I would imagine like this dude, since he's been doing it like since at least 2020, he's probably started trickling them, and then after a while, he's like, "Oh, no one's even paying attention. I'm just
that's
gonna
true.
blow them out." You know what I mean? And it
That's
just,
true. That's
I
true.
guarantee he probably just got too sloppy with it. But I mean, I'm glad he got caught. You know what I mean? Like it's unfair for some dude to like literally be getting basically all of the hits before they even go into packs. So then like dummies like us are over there ripping through all these packs with our paycheck and coming out with base cards or just cards that depreciate faster than anything else. So
Alan,
Alan, see
Hey,
brother,
what's up, guys?
how you
glad you
doing,
came on,
man?
man.
Not too bad.
The Bryce Harper super collector.
I picked up another today, so I'm happy to add that one to the
I
PCF.
know.
Nice, brother.
Finally,
Thank you,
it's
sir.
done.
Appreciate it. How's everything going?
Not too bad. I just do the card thing on the side after work's usually selling that, and I do heat and air full time during Monday through Friday.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Very
awesome.
cool. Very cool. Man, thanks for being here all the time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured you guys would like to see a face to go along with the
Yeah.
gentleman. So.
It definitely is nice to have a face to the name.
Yep. Yeah. So what do you think about this whole thing?
Oh man, I'm really skeptical. Like one of the superfractors I picked up, I was afraid maybe I might see a duplicate of it later pop up, and I've been trying to go after some of the ones that were made prior to it, so that situation wouldn't occur. But yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Definitely.
you're right. I mean, and that's one of the things. I guess Fanatics said anybody that has purchased a card from this guy, they'll reimburse. But now I guess if he's been doing it for 4 years that they kind of sort of know of. I mean, now you got to make sure you have records of that. And how do you know? The funny thing is how do you know that how do you know it's a duplicate if the other one hasn't come out yet?
I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, do you know for sure that it's a duplicate?
It's crazy that we've got into the days you can't even trust what the manufacturer says on the card. Whereas, like, literally, it's like, oh, you flip over the card, it says, oh, this card was signed by X, Y, and Z. It's like
Yep.
the card says it's one of one, or it's, whatever number, but is it really at this point? Even if,
Yeah.
they may have extras on stock for quality control issues, like has been brought up in the past through a lot of different interviews that different companies have done in the past, whereas they've asked blatantly, like, hey, why are there duplicate one of ones?
Yep.
And 99% of the time, it's like, oh, there was damage. One thing I can think of adamantly is the LeBron James card that was accused of patch swapping. And the guy actually had a letter from Upper Deck stating what actually happened, to where he sent the card back in. It was badly damaged. They made him a brand new one, which actually had like a way, way better patch than the original one that was already sold on eBay. You can actually go and look up listings of it and stuff like that. You can even go and check I guess, I don't know if it was graded by PSA or whom it was graded by at the time or whatever, but he ended up cracking it, sending it back, getting a brand new card. And when he went to sell it, I think it might have been through Golden or something like that, he was accused of patch swapping.
Yeah. I can see that. No, but Brandon, you're right. A janitor is somebody at that printing shop, found out that those cards were defective and they were supposed to be thrown in the garbage. And maybe it was the janitor, maybe maybe it was the maintenance man on the printer, who knows? And next thing you know, they're in someone's hand and he either he sells them to this guy for. Now the problem, it's weird. You think about it. He was selling them for $250. So I mean, unless he is the actual person taking them, I mean, I don't know what, I guess you could pay maybe what is someone selling them for $5, $10 a card, $15 a card, who knows? But you're right. A lot of that stuff doesn't pass the smell test. Kenneth, how you doing?
One thing I'm gonna really be curious now that this guy's been busted, like, is he gonna sing? Like, are we gonna get like a chain of like, hey, this person's been involved for this long, or you know what I mean? It led to this person getting involved, like XYZ. And you always hear of like these
Hey, John.
people that get busted in these major scandals, whether it's like the card porns or XYZ, but like what led card porn into it, or like whomever, you know what I mean? Like, who else is involved? Like, who's letting this person take the cards out of there? Because from what I would gather is in a secure place like that, they probably have cameras out the wazoo. So you would think in a matter of 3+ years, somebody would have caught something. You know what I mean? Like there has to be like high security in those type of things.
Mhm.
Um, but by the same point, like you're not going to just let the janitor walk into like where there are thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of sports cards or whatever type of cards that they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like you're not
Yeah.
going to just let the minimum wage type people, like unless like of course like the people that are actually running the machines are like lesser paid, but by the same point they have to like literally hand over like, hey, here's everything you asked me to print, here's the done print job. Like you can't even go to Kinko's or Staples and not get presented with a finished print job and be like, hey, is this done right? You know what I mean? So I would imagine in a company that literally does nothing but printing, they're probably following up on what these people that actually run the machines are doing. And they have to actually turn in like, hey, here's my work. I can't just show up and say, hey, I printed like an entire set today. I have to actually show you that the set's complete, and I have to actually, prove that my work is done, So
Yeah,
I
well, I
highly
wonder
doubt
from
they're
a
taking these guys' word for it.
yeah, well, I wonder, I mean, think about it. They just had the one of one. They had the refractor issue with what last year's what draft or yellow wasn't it? What did they have there was another refractor show? Why with all the doubles? Was that in draft? Oh, that was just in plain old Bowman Chrome.
Yeah.
So they just had an issue, and then here you are, what 6 months later, and you have the same issue again with the same product, right? It's Bowman again, same exact product, you know, different box, one's draft winner, but you have the same exact problem. And it has to be out of the same printer. It's not like there's 45 printers.
Mhm. I'm wondering how many of those issues are now equated to somebody just taking those things, like like the entire draft class of the one baseball product. It's probably the one you're talking about just now, but like literally the entire draft class was missing for the most part. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like you're literally buying these boxes to try to hit like rookies. I mean, no one's like, for the most part, unless you PC somebody, you know what I mean? Like I PC LeBron James, so I might try to open a pack to hit a LeBron card. But for the most part, you're chasing the rookies because that's where the immediate money is at.
It kind
And then if they're just not there,
of
that's a gut shot.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, and I think, so then, here's the other thing, and it was brought up. Here they are, and they're only printing one sport, Fanatics. Right? Fanatics is responsible for baseball.
Yeah.
That's all. What happens when they have football, basketball, wrestling, or who knows what other sports they get? I mean, yeah,
Whatever the hell they want, apparently.
you know what I mean? Like what happens?
Griffin had a good question. He goes, when was the first um, round of cards that should have been destroyed to make it to the market? That's a really good question. I can think of like one huge scandal was the star cards, whereas like grading companies now still can't, for the most part, tell whether it's an original star or basically what happened was stars shut down then there were people that came and bought up their assets and
Right.
literally started reprinting their cards and selling them
Yeah.
on the secondary market. So that'd be like Topps shutting down after like this scandal comes out, and then me and Michael saying, "Hey, you want to pitch up on whatever's left over at the Topps factory, rip some packs, and sell the rest?" Like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, "Oh, there's presses. You mean we could just start reprinting all of the
There
stuff
you
we
go.
have printing plates for?" So
Yeah.
Michael's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So that's like literally what happened back in the day. Is these guys literally found all this stuff and they started just reproducing the star cards, and the really famous ones obviously the Michael Jordan star card, which predates his actual rookie card. But for the most part, grading companies still can't tell the difference. Most of them still aren't grading those cards.
Yeah, but like Dusty said, also they had they did have uncut sheets of cards from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that you could buy, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I guess from a standpoint of it would be hard for the layman to buy that sheet and cut those perfect. You know what I'm saying? From that standpoint, I don't know if there was anything different printed on them. Why was it? I don't know if anything was printed on the back. I mean, I really was never into the cut sheets or so on. Stuff like that and everything. But from that standpoint, I don't know you know, from there if
You know,
anything.
it'd be kind of cool with a lot of these cards being thicker now with like the chrome stock and stuff. Why not just put like a like RFID chip or something inside the cardboard to where like once the pack is sold and that barcode is scanned, like all the RFID chips in every card just activate. So that way there's literally no transacting of cards that are illegally transacted.
Yeah, but then that would get away from them being able to give influencers loaded boxes.
Well, actually, wouldn't it make it easier because then they could more easily track the hits?
That's true.
Speaking of which, Fanatics, me and Michael are still waiting on them loaded boxes.
That's right. Every time I open one, I miss mine.
I know, me too. I mean, come on now. I have a
I
Topps product right here, and I guarantee you there's no hits in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Anthony, you want us to have to pay more, even higher? Wait, watermarks or luminescent ink.
True.
They could tighten security. I don't know. Just go ahead and basically have, security guards standing there. You're printing, it's not like you're printing paper like I mean, I don't know. Again, I know nothing about the card printing business. I don't know. Do you use the same machine that you print a paper card on as you do a Chrome card? I don't know. Is there a different process for putting this card and putting this card together? Is it layers or so on and so forth? So
I
from that standpoint,
I think a lot of the big things that come into building of different cards is mainly the paper stocks. Now they probably have different caliber printers that deal with different types of materials, I'd imagine. But I'd imagine they're probably using like a base model and then they're changing up the paper stocks. Like for the most part, they're basically taking like a base card and then they're putting like an extra layer of like refractor or whatever foil over top of it to give it that kind of an effect. Like or even like a mosaic. Like I don't know if you guys have ever done this or if you've ever been curious about cards, but if you like literally rip them apart, sometimes you can like literally see the different layers and stuff that they put into them. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times that's what they do is they'll use different types of paper, different stocks and stuff right like that. But for example, we've interviewed the guy who started Oh Crap TCG. He basically started because he was running a print shop and he had like all of the stuff to like basically run print shop type stuff, do different types of jobs like that. And out of that, it just his passion for TCG slash poop and farts. Oh Crap was born. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that being that he was able to do it just like I don't want to say base print shop stuff because he obviously print shop equipment is very, very expensive. Like you can't go into like a Staples and even use like the photocopier and think that that's like a cheap machine. You know what I mean? So I would imagine while the machines are expensive, they're probably not using anything like incredibly different than most of your print shops.
Okay. All right. I'm with you right there. I got you. But you can't tell me that when it comes time, so there has to be a difference between the correlating location and the printing location, right? You can't tell me that when you're printing and and you're saying, guys, guess what? There's going to be an announcement. Hey, on printer number 5 today, we are going to be printing the one of ones for Bowman Draft.
Mhm.
Have a flipping security guard stand there.
Yeah.
Because you're not all of a sudden like every 5th card is not a gold one of one, and then next thing you know, it's 5 paper cards, and then a gold one of one, then 5 paper cards, right? I mean, I gotta believe there's some kind of process where they're printing all of that stuff at the same time because you're using the different stuff, right? I gotta believe when you're printing, they're printing all the same type, and then then they go to some kind of correlating machine
For
after
sure.
that. So have security, have cameras.
It'd be way too expensive not to. They probably still do like entire sheets, and then you know what I mean. It'll be all base, then it's all silver, then it'll be all disco or whatever the hell parallels they're doing nowadays.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, even going off of that point, you know what I mean? They're building the entire set, they're building all their rainbows and stuff like that. Once they have it all printed and it's time for Panini to come and pick it up, or Fanatics to come and pick it up, even though Fanatics is now technically running a lot of these printers. Um, you think somebody there is going to verify, hey, do I have everything I need to be able to sell this product? You know what I mean? Because unless
Right.
you have every single card that has been printed for the set to be complete, you don't have every single card. You know what I mean? So like you think somebody would literally be there with a checklist, like just like you've talked about in the past, going on Cardboard Connection, literally getting a checklist of every single card that's in this set. Do I have every base card? Okay. Do I have every silver? Do I have every disco? Do I have every refractor? Do I have every numbered card? Like every auto? Like it's not that difficult. These people are making like probably considerably more than I make to deal with trading cards. Like shouldn't
Well,
be
well,
that
and I
difficult.
and I think also, there should be a process in place that as soon as a card, a sheet, a batch, whatever it is deemed unacceptable, that it has to be, yeah, that it has to be, make sure they don't get into circulation or anything like that. They go right to the shredding bin. Have a shredding bin right there. You throw them in,
Yeah.
you shred them all up.
Mhm.
Like I guess I don't understand it. The whole process piece. It's hard to imagine from raw piece of paper to putting it in a pack that there's not an ironclad process. Now, obviously, we see there isn't. I mean, that's not like a question. I mean, I guess I can believe it because we've seen it with our own eyes plenty of
Yeah.
times. But it's why, and then again, how does that now affect the hobby? How do you trust every high end card? Alan is a guy who he buys, the low numbered cards and everything. And you even said before, Alan, right? Now you got to start to wonder sometimes, right? Even a
Yeah, I
card to,
was
let's say it's 5 to 5. Forget the one of ones, the 5 to 10s. Those are still valuable cards. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you come to? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I just don't know.
the 2023 cards. I really don't have that many of, and I haven't really chased them. Especially Panini now that they have no licenses.
Mm.
I mean, what's a card without a license, really?
True.
Yeah.
So,
I
I mean,
wonder how
so
many other people are doing that because, like myself specifically, like I'm ripping considerably less than I ever have in my entire life. And like it between feeling like I'm not going to get anything out of the boxes, like the fact that like I got 3 boxes of cards from my girlfriend yet, and literally I'm just waiting to a video to rip them. Like never in my life would I ever have let a box of cards sit there. But it's like between not thinking I'm going to get anything, uh, always hearing hits are being backdoored, XYZ. It's like the excitement to even open a new product. Like, unless it's like lately, I've been excited to open up Lorcana, but that's because I'm nerdy and want to actually play the game. So it's like I'm taking the cards and actually playing with them. Whereas like these, it's like I'm basically opening up and it just gives me another card I have to list on eBay, for the most part, unless I hit something good, but it's retail. So odds are I'm probably not going to. So it's basically just straight to eBay with most of it.
Yeah,
Well, I
Gus has been
think,
chasing it.
yeah, yeah,
Gus has
I
been
think,
chasing everything from 2022 on back. That's it. I really don't
yeah.
trust what's been occurring.
No,
Yeah.
and you have to, right? You can't. I mean, it does make it scary to to wonder when you're sitting there. Wow, you know, is this even if it's, let's say, out of 5 or out of 10?
Mhm.
Is this the real 3 of 5? Is there another 3 of 5 out there? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think from a standpoint of what was going on with the hobby, and maybe this is because I don't know. I wonder if, I mean, these were going in jumbos, because I mean it's not like I don't it's not like they have blasters or megas of this stuff out yet, right? So this was all stuff that was going to people buying jumbos or hobby boxes and stuff like that, right? So it's not like it was going to it's not like it was going to regular Joe who was
Yeah.
walking into Walmart or Target or his local LCS, and, oh, hey, you got megas of Bowman draft? I'll give me a mega or give me a blaster. Um,
Yeah.
but I think, to your point about it, is that what makes it, I mean, what makes it even harder is that, you know, it's a high dollar card. And I mean, I know $250 might not seem like a high value card to a lot of people, right? But it's considered a higher value, a more rarer card, and then it was then you can only get that out of really, really, really expensive boxes. So knowing that those boxes are going for the prices they're going, that, again, and having zero care about security and just letting whatever the hell happens, happens, and don't worry about it. It's like, hey, we don't care. We'll replace it. We'll figure out what to do later.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I don't know.
I have never seen, outside of like the sports card hobby, like more businesses literally tell their consumer base, we don't give a crap about you. And we never will. But please keep sending us your money. And
Yeah.
then like we do. Like I just don't get it. Like they're just like straight up like, yeah, we just don't care. But we still want your money. Keep sending it. Ripping and flipping. I just got the Rico 8170. It's the Fujitsu. I guess they changed their name to Rico now.
Yeah.
I
Rico
like it
Mortimer.
so far, but like Michael was saying, I need to take out the little wheel thing because it's crunching up all of my penny sleeves. It's been driving me crazy, and I'm having some issues where it's like also like it'll look like the cards like blurring up out of the case, like so it's like literally elongating the picture and just like messing up some of my scans. So there's like little things like that I need to tweak, but I finally got hooked up today. Ran through about 300 to 400 cards on it. Just trying to get some more stuff in my Google Drive to get listed this week.
Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Son of a bitch. No, but I think, God, son of a gun. I did not watch. I can only imagine what happened in Topps Definitive. I did not hear about that. Locking. If you would like to enlighten us, that'd be awesome. But I don't know. It's yeah, the whole thing of trying this. I guess from a standpoint of, again, why is it sometimes seems as though the further away you are from something, the the solutions to solving problems are simple, and maybe we don't know, but again, it's like, hey, we're printing the one of ones. We need eyeballs on it, especially when you had the
Mhm.
problem happen before. Like if it was the first time, you go, oh my gosh, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not the first time. So from that standpoint,
And it's
but
it's not
then
even like the Fanatics people were new. They were all poached from Panini.
right, right.
Not
But
all of
did
them, but like most of them.
but did you
What about that 2012 Bowman Chrome Superfractor Mike Trout that just surfaced and it got autographed? Did you see that? That was graded.
No.
Oh, is that the fake one?
It was never, yeah, because it was never released.
Yeah.
That
No.
would have
I
been like
heard
Mike
about I
Trout's
didn't read.
Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that, and I'm like,
Well, and you look at how things change. So I don't know if you know this, but if you buy a Prestige 2023 football mega box and you take the plastic off, then go ahead and take a heat gun, and where it says you'll find, whatever it is, rookie cards or something along those lines, the label. I think what it says on there is like you can find 12 rookie cards. If you have a heat gun, that's a label. And that label covers find one autograph. So at one point, every one of those boxes was supposed to get an autograph, have an autograph in it. But let's see. He watched over 100 box openings, did the math. Only 5% broke or eat better on a $2,000 box. Yeah. That does not surprise me, Larkin, that it was even less than half, man. I see that all the time. We've had them on the channel, Loot Box, and I watch those guys, and they're a ripping channel, and I watch Juice and Gin and Juice, and they open, and Juice will get a $1,500 box, $1,600 box, of basketball. That'll be, like 1 pack or 3 packs or 4 packs. And he'll open it up, and the overwhelming majority of the times, he's not even coming close to half.
Yeah.
Like the card out of the box might be a $75 card.
I've seen Marty do that so many times too. And like back in the day before he did his own eBay store, like literally I was his consigner. So like literally he'd rip a box and like I'd go home with it to sell it for him. And like I'd be giving him back like a third of what he just paid, like consistently. I'm like, dude, this isn't working out, I don't think.
Right.
I mean, luckily he graduated to the point where he literally just rips until he does hit that like massive hit now that like pays for everything. But
Yeah.
not everybody can afford to do that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like I know for me, like I get 2-3 boxes in, like I'm not eating the rest of the month. Yeah,
Right.
but I guess some people can, and if like the odds are like if you rip, an entire case, there's going to be X number of hits in there, you know, which I guess he has the math down pack on that. But for me, man, knowing that the deck's stacked against me just doesn't make me want to gamble.
Well, and if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna get a case, and you're gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna buy the boxes out of a case and get the rip until I get the case hit," you better hope it's a fresh case.
True. Very
That
true.
you watch the guy open it and go, "Okay, you don't go anywhere. That box stays right there. I'm gonna keep buying boxes until no one else puts their hand in there other than you, and you hand the box directly to me, and I'll rip it right now and everything." From that standpoint. But I think the overall thing, and I think Allen does it the right way. He goes on, he chases singles. He got a player, he sees a card, he goes and he gets it. Oh, you know, um,
He must have saw a good single.
yeah.
He went and he got it.
And I think that and I think unfortunately that's the way it's going to have to go for a lot of people and stuff from that standpoint of having to go chase the single because you pretty much know 95% of the time or 90% of the time, you're opening up, blasters and megas and stuff like that, or you're not gonna go. I mean, out of those, pulling something, you got to hope that maybe that they made a mistake, or for some reason they just decided to, hey, on this product we're gonna put the hits, in the retail stuff and give guys a chance of getting, the stuff like Mosaic 2023 Mosaic football was like that. You could pull a lot of case hits out of blasters. Like you can pull a lot of the shorter run print cards, out of blasters and out of megas and stuff. But you may have to again open a crap ton to go ahead and get it, but you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
You
really
know.
bought any product since. Oh wow, that's a long time. 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn, that is a long time.
Yeah, the only card I ripped open was when I got it with that lids exclusive, those chrome cards. That's the only
Okay.
pack I've ever ripped open in years. Yeah,
Wow.
it's just been buying singles since it flopped. But
I don't blame you, man. Like that's really the way to go. You really can maximize what you make on like your investment that way, because it's such a crapshoot with wax right now. Like, say you are looking for Bryce Harper, you could buy an entire hobby box and not even hit one of his cards. You know what I mean? Like, now, granted, Bryce Harper's a big enough name that you probably will hit, at least a base card of him, but theoretically it's possible for you to rip an entire box and not even hit a Bryce Harper, so like kind of defeats the purpose of trying to get those specific guys, or at least the cards that you want.
yeah, the single card business is actually, since I started doing that, has actually been working out quite well for me. Well,
Awesome.
besides that, and my full time job. So let's see.
Nice, man. That's
awesome.
awesome.
In the past 3 months.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. The singles are definitely where it's at, especially if you know the market and you know kind of where things go.
Yeah.
You can find like crazy value on stuff. Like right now, I've been scooping a bunch of like Lorcana singles just because like I know like on TCG Player, which is kind of where like they set the like trading card game comps. Like I'm finding cards that are like $12 to $20. I'm picking up on eBay for like $1 and $2 like regularly right now, that I could literally wait for them to come in and just send them in the TCG Player and make like that 5, 6, 7x, like whatever it is, depending on what card it is. You know what I mean? So like even knowing that across any sport, platform, genre, is invaluable, because then you're going to be able to find stuff that's routinely selling for less than whatever it's worth. You would think, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're getting more than enough money from the high-end hussy people that can afford to drop money on these boxes that just literally are not going to hold value.
Yeah. Well, I think from a standpoint of is you can see it when you go into Walmart now and everything. I did, Dusty. Thank you. When you go into Walmart now, blasters that were $25, $30 are now $17. $20. And the funny thing is they're still sitting there because people know, I'm even at $17, I may not get, if I'm trying to do it for reselling them, I may not get my money back at $17.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, it is what it is. The funny thing is I think like you said, you can still find your bargains out there and stuff like that. Uh, it's not easy. And you gotta work to go ahead and find them, and you gotta catch them at the right time and stuff like that, and the right buyer, the right seller, and stuff like that, and you're able to work out a deal, and you get a card or a card or two that you really like.
Yeah.
From that standpoint.
Yeah, it's been nice. It gives me a nice little luxury to do other things. I'm quite a cycling enthusiast. Maddie does his running, and
Right.
I've just gotten into felt bikes big time. So I got a nice little variety of felt
That's awesome.
bikes I ride and getting into that. And we're not
Yeah.
getting younger here, fellas, and my
Right.
midsection's looking a little soggy.
I hear you there, man.
Yeah, but in the summertime, doing AC work, you probably slim down a little bit working in the Maddox.
Oh man, keep hydrated. That's for sure.
I bet.
Drinking water like a camel.
Yeah, back in the day, you had to worry about resealed cards, not the manufacturers trying to rig the game. You're right. And then, you did, and all this leads into the whole mystery pack thing. Then you have everybody moving the mystery pack stuff and everything like that. I mean, look at Backyard. They basically, they at one time, you know what? They were like the breaker. Everybody, oh my God, backyard. They don't even break that much. They on their Twitch channel and stuff like that. I don't even know if they're on there anymore. But that's what they're on there every day. Grant and whoever were on there, for X amount of hours every day, just breaking constantly, 6, 7 hours. Now they're doing repacks.
What does that say about the breaking market when backyard's not making money breaking cards?
I don't know. No, you're right. It's not affecting the bag line. Keeps us talking about them and people keep buying them.
True. Very true.
And Dom was right. Back in the day, it was very different because you really weren't, you had back in the day. I mean, you did have, it's funny, in the 70s, the inserts were, league leaders, or they'd throw, a special all-star card in or something along those lines, right? That was what that's what the inserts were, and then they started to change and stuff like that, but it wasn't, gold and silver and red wave and blue wave and green wave. Like I was just looking at stuff. I was listing a bunch of cards and I couldn't believe it, but there was green wave, red wave, red ice, purple wave, pink wave, gold wave. That's 12, 13, 14 color variations for one friggin' player.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they got to make that for every player. That's true. The checklist was another big one, man.
Yeah.
Right. You don't even get them anymore. You don't even get checklists anymore. So you don't even know what's out there. That's another piece. It's like, hey,
Why would they give us a checklist when they're keeping half the cards?
So I was trying to work on a rainbow of this guy right here.
Nice.
Zach Gentili. Found 2 of his cards in the National. I was like, you know what? I want to do the rainbow. This friggin' card right here, just this Bowman draft paper.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 7 different ones. And there's actually a red 1 of 1. And that's from like 2012 or something. I'm like, what the heck? It's a friggin' Bowman. What? I'm like, I thought I had them all. I'm like, oh crap. There's a 1 of 1. How the heck am I going to get that one now?
Yeah.
So, it's, everybody, I want to do the rainbow. Freaking the rainbow. Sometimes if these plays, it's like 40 cards.
Yeah. The rainbow is like not even doable for most people nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, especially if it's like a star player you collect or like a rookie you're collecting. Like even getting a 1 of 1 of Anderson Varejao wasn't like super cheap, and it's like his cards are like not expensive at all.
Yeah, and that's right. And you don't even get a damn piece of gum anymore, Dusty.
I miss that with Topps in the 90s. Well,
yeah. At least you got a little something extra. I mean, it only lasted about 20, 30 seconds. We were like, oh my God.
I think what a Fanatic should initiate is instead of sticking gum in each pack, they should start putting a thing of lube in each box. Because you basically need it after buying it.
About a case in. I don't know. It's and we look. I mean, we've been talking. Adrian,
Adrian?
how you doing? How
She's
you
like, what did I
doing? How
walk
you
into?
doing? Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, I sometimes wonder, what's gonna have to change. Like, is there a changing point? Is there a moment in time or something that has to occur for I don't want to say things to get better because I don't know if we consider the times that we're in right now bad, right? But
Mhm.
to improve in some way, shape, or form, from that perspective. And I don't know what it's going to take and everything because where's the incentive?
There- What's up, lady fella? That is very true. That is always the case around me. But yeah, I mean, there's going to have to be
Boom,
some forced accountability. What's up, Dusty?
Dusty from the
For there to be any
garage.
kind of change.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. My bad.
Well, I don't know because you know now you're seeing more players get involved. And Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll is collecting his own cards. Mike Trout is collecting his own cards. So if there's any kind of bidding war and you happen to go against Mike Trout, how are you winning?
Yeah.
How you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Better have some
really?
good credit.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Melissa
You know what I mean?
O'Brien's
Like,
bidding on that Mike Trout.
yeah, that's right.
He's not winning that one.
Imagine that. Just imagine that. There's Mike Trout going in, and all of a sudden you see, Showtime winning bid. Who the hell is that? Oh, that's me, Mike. Remember me? I used to hang out with you. I wear different, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, unless you're Otani. But I mean, so how do you go ahead and if they want to get the best cards of themselves that are available, how does a normal collector now have a shot? Take
You really don't.
anybody. It ain't even him.
Maybe on
Take any
eBay.
player.
I'd imagine these star players aren't monitoring eBay all the time because they got to train and they have other things they have to do.
Blaze Jordan, minor league guy. He shows his videos are of him collecting his own cards.
Is this going to start becoming a trend?
I think it's going to. There was another guy that I was following. I forgot what his name was. He was a lefty pitcher for the Royals, and I think he stopped making videos. I know he got hurt and he couldn't pitch anymore. I think he tore his rotator cuff. But there's a guy who was talking about collecting his own cards and everything. He was doing the same type of thing.
Well, I'm glad Harper doesn't do that, or I'd be in trouble maybe.
Yeah. Well, or now, Alan, the other way around. You could get a bunch more because he may come to you and go, "Hey, I really want that 3 of 5. Thank you very much."
Right?
You're right, Rocky. I mean, has it ever been about the normal collector? You're right.
I got a question for you. Why don't I become a Major League Baseball player and buy my own 101, autograph it live, and then just give it away on my YouTube channel? And then 2 years later, someone else has a 101.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't.
It's out there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. As more players get involved, as more as they suck these guys in and stuff like that. Like I don't know. Look at Wembanyama. Is every single one of the cards that he signed were they actually put in the boxes? Or does he have, one or two of them? Or does any of these guys have? I don't know. I'm not, but you never know now. Now you don't know.
Yeah.
With all the crap that's going on, it makes Brennan, it makes you wonder. To randomize collation, with the holographic codes and everything. I still believe those codes mean something. You don't put the code on
100%.
that box for that code to mean nothing.
It's
That
not
means
random. definitely not random. There's
It
nothing
can't be.
random about sports cards.
It can't be. You can't go ahead and get a special holographic little label with a certain code on it, slap it on boxes. What, just to give you the illusion that you don't know what's going on? You know, I mean, and obviously we know that's not true because of the Crown Royal.
Yep.
You know, or
100%.
crap that went down.
Yep.
Have you ever sent cards into Tops to get crappy cards, like replenished?
I have not. I've
I
sent
have
in
not.
like redemptions, but that's about it.
So one of the questions will be, obviously it has to be this, very narrow window, but one of the questions will be, can you provide a picture of the box in the packs?
Really?
It's they typically will let it go, but at the same token, it's one of the things you'll have to be so-called responsible for. Like, why?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Panini, Marty pulled a Luka Doncic kaboom out of actually the Crown Royal before we even knew that there was like a thing you find the code or whatever. But he tried sending it back to Panini to get fixed, and because he had the box still, he had the pack still, but he didn't have the receipt from the
the receipt
from the LCS. So like since he didn't have even that, they basically denied swapping the Luka for him. But yeah, it's wild. So like they have to know how to correlate it. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee, like they're matching all that stuff up to like, oh yeah, Joe printed that last Wednesday or like whenever. You know what I mean? So they can probably track it to the exact day it was done. Like they could look probably to see how other things were packaged or whatever. There's definitely something that tells them, some kind of information about what happened with that information.
got it.
Yeah, I I saw a post. A guy he had a 1-of-1 out of the J-Rod collection of Adalis Garcia, and he took a picture of it, and he's in a Facebook group, but he's like, I sent this, I contacted Tops to replace because I had a problem with this card. I had to send it to them, and all they responded back to me is we will give you we'll be able to give you basically a box of that J-Rod collection. And the funny thing is when you look at the picture online and you blow it up as big as you can't see anything wrong with the card. So I mean, now maybe it's a bad picture, so on and so forth. And people are saying to the guy, it's a 1-of-1. Why would you send it back unless it was, had like a big fold in the middle or something really, really bad? Why would you go ahead and send it back? If if the damage is minor, and what were you expecting to get? Like, do they, if again, you don't want them having another one of those you don't want them having that card sitting in a vault somewhere because then it's not a true 1-of-1, right? You don't want that.
Well,
And what do you want them to do? Give you well, hey, we think Tuscar Hernandez is equal, so nobody. But wait a minute, no, we don't have that 1-of-1. Like, what do you think they have? A whole bunch of 1-of-1s sitting in the back that they didn't put in a box?
I think some people think that they're just going to reprint them.
Yeah,
like, here you go.
That's what you
Here's
figure,
the exact same one. We'll destroy the one that you sent us, so then you will have a 1-of-1. But most of the time, it ends up right back door like we're talking about today.
Yeah, Adrian saw the same thing. I agree. I think the guy was going ahead and because it seemed a little stupid, but who knows?
Brendan, that'd be a good idea, man. He said he was thinking about reaching out to Michael Rubin and offering Tops some ideas to save them from themselves. Somebody needs to. I mean, you would think that they should have somebody that's actually tracking some of these podcasts. Like, obviously not ours because we're small and we're probably not on anyone's radar. But
still in the basement, Matty Ice. Matty Ice is still in the basement.
I was wondering if you were ever going to let me in.
I'm sorry.
Way to go, Mike.
Terrible.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I think from a standpoint of uh, like I said earlier, this is with one company, and they have one license right now that they are able to print. What happens when they have everything?
More of
It'll
the
get
same.
worse.
Lots more superfractors.
Right?
It'll get way worse.
Hey, is that why they had to come out with the frozen fractors? The -1 of 1 or -1 of 0, whatever it was. I mean, now I still have never seen one of those.
Yeah.
But is that why they had to come up with that?
Got to make the difference up somewhere.
Brendan put up a good comment. He said maybe B-side will do a song about this topic. I think B-side could probably do multiple albums, just being a hobby fan, just with all the craziness that goes on. But yeah, I would like to see him do some more songs, hobby related songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you, it's tough. And again, we look at it from a standpoint of, the one of ones and the to fives are the things that we hear about. What about any of the other stuff, man? What about any of the, if you, why not to the cards to 25, the cards to 50?
Mm-hmm. I wonder how
Like,
common the non-numbered stuff is. Like, say, like the autographs. Like, say,
Yeah.
there's Wemby autos right now floating around that aren't numbered. Like, how easy would it be for some of these guys just to backdoor that stuff because they're not trackable, because no one will tell you how many of them have been printed.
Yep. Hey, I think we have room for 10. So I think because we can have more people. Feel free to come on. We'll know when it gets filled up.
It's
at
the
least
52nd episode.
Michael
Come
might
on.
ignore you for a while, like he did Maddie, but we'll get you in.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, Santa
Yeah,
Santa
that
Claus is
jogging, man,
always
that's
welcome.
just-
We are 5 days from Christmas. Santa Claus is always welcome. But I don't know. I just it's the crazy part of the hobby, and the bad part is that all the good things that are happening, stuff like that. Hey, let's not talk about that kind of stuff, because again, that doesn't make the news. If they talked about good stuff, Dan the Card Man and IHH and Sports Card Radio, they would have no content. A lot of those guys, which is okay. But I'm not saying those are bad guys or anything, but it's that's the part that keeps everything churning.
Yeah, for sure.
You
And honestly, like I think that it's good in a sense that we're seeing a lot more people kind of speak out now, whereas like for so long it's just been like the status quo and no one said anything against the establishment. You know what I mean? Especially if you were like anybody with like any form of like hobby cred, because it's like, oh, I could lose like correlation, or I could lose like X, Y, and Z, or you know what I mean? Like, because there's so many people that'll like want to suck on the teat of like whatever Fanatics like company is like on top at the time, because they either want the loaded boxes or they want the sponsorship deals, or maybe they just want to be in with the cool kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different like factors at play to where so many people probably didn't speak up for the longest time, to where now it's like literally like you can go to almost any channel, and it's not even necessarily like the Dans or the AIHs or any of those guys, but like even like the bigger mainstream positivity people are constantly talking about scandals and stuff now too, just because it's like I really feel like these past like year or two, it's just been so eye-opening for a lot of people in the hobby to really see just kind of like the like almost behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Like you could see the great and powerful Oz is not this powerful wizard that you thought he was, but he's really just some scumbag backdooring cards. You know what I mean? So
very true. Yeah, financial is going to be it, but I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily see. I mean, yes, we see we see prices and stuff, going down. I was watching a video of a guy who He bought 2 Wembanyama's base rookies, and by the time he paid for them, and then he paid to get him graded, and I guess he didn't look at him probably as well as he should have, because both of them got 9s. So he wound up paying with shipping and with the grading fees and everything,
Yep.
like just under, like right around, let's say like $1,800. He was in $1,800 on the cards. And, I'm sorry, no, $1,200 on the cards. And after selling them, and he put them on auction and started them at 99 cents, he wound up getting $700. He wound up taking like a $500 loss on
It
those
happens.
2 cards.
Crazy.
So that ball bounces sometimes.
Yeah.
It's bounced in my court that way too.
Oh yeah. I mean, it happens. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah. I mean, you're right. They raise the drum they want to be, but I mean that's what they do. But there are a lot of positive people. You can watch it, everything. Carlos is another one. I mean, Carlos rides the line.
He's a man of peace.
He's a man of peace. He's a man of peace.
Yep.
Just a man of peace. But I think again, I don't know what Again, I look at it from my standpoint of is that I'm not gonna have to worry about some of these a lot of these super fractors and all this other kind of stuff. At least not right now, because I mean there's nobody that I would want that card of per se. I'm not saying that there's like I mean to me, like if like for instance, the guy who got the Tom Brady, 1 of 1, right? That super fractor and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't see for me, not for anybody else, but for me, I don't see the value in keeping that card. I hate him as a football player. Number 1, first and foremost, so like, it would like if I pulled that card, if I was the guy who bought into that break and everything, then hey, I would consider getting rid of it. But I look at that card and stuff, and that card got pulled by Triple Diamond, a smaller card shop breaker, out of Minnesota and everything. That was the one that Deafness started back up with before he moved and everything. And I was happy to go ahead and see a guy that side. Those people get it.
Wouldn't that have been wild if Def would have been the one to pull it too? If he was
Oh, it
still
would have
there.
been nuts. But come on, I mean,
Yeah.
you think about it. When you heard about that card, how many people? If there was, everybody was saying it was going to be Leighton, or it was going to
Yep.
be, Blez, or Hitman. It was going to be one of those breakers that was going to hit that card. So I was happy when they did, but again, I'm like I said, for me personally, I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm not worried about getting that type of stuff. And like I said, I would see no reason to go ahead, and keep that. There's no player today in today's game that I feel that way about. I don't know about you guys, but for me, there's no player that I feel that way about.
You know what? If you would have asked me this like 2 years ago, I would have given you a list. But like literally, all of those guys that were on my list 2 years ago are all down today. So,
Yeah.
like honestly, like at this point, if a cool card like that comes out of like Big Ben or Cordell Stewart, I'm in. If not, I'll just flip it.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the first guy to run and collect bounty money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when that 12 of 50 that was it 12 of 50 or 12 of 25, that's the hit card. Anybody know the
12 of
bounty card?
50.
It's the 12 of
12 of
50.
50. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see what happens with that. What we got here? Where does PS stand on grading multiple points?
I would say if it's
It'll-
legit and they can verify it, they probably would. They will actually, most grading companies will call up and verify, the validity of cards. Like, for example, I brought up the oh crap guy earlier, but one thing he said when he was on with us was, whenever Beckett started grading his stuff, they actually reached out to him as like the owner of the company to verify, hey, is this a real card, and the validity of it. So I would imagine when it comes to like a one of one, like unless it's some bum player, PSA wants that in their slab. Like any grading company wants to have one of ones or big cards in their slab because it's great like social media promotion. So I think that they would probably be willing to do the footwork to try to get that card in their slab, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, and that's another thing. So, would you grade a 101?
I would personally, just
At least
because.
have it cased, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Brendan brings up a good point. Like, one grade's a 10, one grade's an 8. And I was talking with my girlfriend over the weekend, and she goes, is there a big, like, multiplier when you get a 10 on a one of one as opposed to a 9? And I'm like, honestly, there's normally a decent multiplier on cards, like from 9 to a 10, but it's like literally with a one of one, you're basically setting the market because there's not another one. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, typically, if I'm ever pricing one, like I literally just go look at either the same type of card in the previous year's set or the exact same player in like a correlating set. So if it's like Origins, I'm going to look at another hobby specific non-flagship product. You know what I mean? That kind of falls in that same category. You know what I mean? For example. But yeah, I mean, it can be really tough with one of ones.
Hey man, I may be a breaker for him one day, Manny. Be nice. I don't It's only about 10 miles from, it's only about 9 or 10 miles from my house.
Hey, he he did what he did. He's wealthy beyond imagination, but it wouldn't shock me if something like that happened. So
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if I'd grade a 101.
I don't know if
It would really depend on what type of one of one. Like, for example, the printing plates, you're always getting 7s, 8s, like crappy grades on that because it was literally used for manufacturing. Now, if
True.
it's like a regular one of one that's like an actual card stock and it's in decent shape, I would definitely grade it. Um, I don't know how much of a premium you're getting over raw though is the issue because you're kind of setting your own market on it. So again, it's like it's kind of out of my pay grade. Like most of the one of ones I deal in are like Anderson Varejao or like, like I pulled out of like a lot of the WWE stuff. I used to pull like Wes Lee one of one. You know what I mean? Where it's not like I'm getting a Hulk Hogan or a John Cena or like at the time Wes Lee wasn't even like where he is today. You know what I mean? This was like 2-3 years ago. I pulled a one of one with him. You know what I mean? So it was like I sold it on eBay for like $40. You know what I mean? Didn't even bother grading it. But if it would have been like a Cena or somebody like that, I definitely would have, just because I feel like for me as a collector, if I see a card like that in a slab, I'm probably more prone to buy it than as if I see if I see it raw, because I don't know what the condition's going to be. You know what I mean? If it's raw, I could be buying a one on one that's going to come back a PSA 6. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's in a slab, I at least know, okay, this is at least in mint condition. You know what I mean? And it's going to at least hold that value for me.
Yeah, I would think it would have to affect the price in some way, shape, or form. But I think to your point, let's face it, if you're sitting there with a one of one in your hand and you're trying to sell it online by pictures,
Mm-hmm.
you would
Yeah.
want to have, good pictures, and you'd want to disclose anything you see, because what do you want to do? You want to sell it, and then, who know, then, the whole trying to return crap and going through all that kind of stuff. Who the hell knows what happens then, right? So from that standpoint, so you might as well, thanks, Dusty. You might as well, be honest with it, and you're probably right. Go ahead and grade it. I mean, you better off. You're right. It's protected and stuff like that. Then you also know. Well, I would say it could be verified as authentic, but we don't know if that would be true.
I like the verification process of it for authentication through eBay. If you sell it and it's graded already, so once it's authenticated, you can get paid out right away as well too, because it's already in a slab and it's graded.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, I tell you right now though, like if I was that and I missed it by, oh gosh, oh,
There he is.
oh.
So you've been good this year, Michael.
I like the guy. I missed watching that Tom Brady be pulled live by about 20 minutes because I watch Triple Diamond and I saw I rewound it and I watched it and everything. And the guy who bought that into that break, the Washington Nationals were $229. So he bought in at $229 and hit that car.
That's
wild.
wild.
Hitting the jackpot, huh?
So I figure that card. So then you got to figure it costs about $1,000 to fly there because there ain't no way in hell they dropping that in the mail. And then if I am getting it graded, it's another $1,000 or $2 to fly out to PSA to actually hand it to them, and say, "Ooh, I want the super duper duper express." So I'm gonna be at the Hilton Hotel. I'll be coming back in a couple days. I'm not leaving and then letting them mail it to me. I might
Is that part of the territory you cover?
No, if it was, that would be awesome. From that standpoint. So, but Santa Claus, how you doing, Santa?
I'm doing good. Just got done with a break earlier, but I'm here.
What'd you break?
We had a box of 2023 Ellen Ginter, 2023 Archives, and a 2023 Holiday Mega.
Nice. Any good hits?
Average, I believe.
Yeah.
It's fitting that Santa was ripping Holiday.
There you go.
Had to.
He's trying to pull.
Santa threw in that box.
Yes, I did.
Oh, he was probably trying to pull his own 101.
Trying.
Yeah.
I'm not in with Tops. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Santa's not a big enough influencer.
No.
Yeah. Out of all the influencers, Santa's not big enough.
Now, Dom is supposed to show up as well.
Come on, Dommy. Where the hell are you?
He said if I got on, he would get on. Well, I told him if I got on, he'd have to get on.
The question is, who is signing those Santa and Mrs. Santa Claus cards?
Me.
The same person signing the Mickey Mouse and.
Damn, that is a really good. That is true. Who the hell signs those?
It would be a Tops employee, I bet.
I wonder if they have like some kind of a machine that does like that in bulk, because to make it the exact same all the time.
An auto pen,
maybe.
An auto pen like the Dak Prescott?
Yeah, like the Dak Prescott. Yep.
Wow. I didn't think that's a good question. And then what? Doesn't Elf sign? Isn't there an Elf one? Or Elf doesn't have an autograph? Maybe I know,
No,
I don't know.
I think it's Elf, Mr. and Mrs.
Do they
Santa, possibly the Snowman too. I'm not exactly sure if Frosty does.
I was getting ready to say,
it's a little
how's
hard
the
with the
Snowman
arms,
sign?
but
I mean, yeah,
oh boy.
There he is.
Santa's little helper.
There he is.
Here's my little elf.
Not kidnapped.
In his 1972 Mets hat.
Yeah,
how you doing, Dom?
1970.
1970. That was close.
1970.
That's what you pulled?
That's awesome.
No, Dommy sent it to me.
Wow.
Out of 2021 Tier 1, a gold auto Soto.
That's gorgeous.
That was sick.
Son of a bitch. That's pretty good. Way to go, Dommy.
Might actually get it graded.
That's how you stay on the nice list.
That's right.
that is how you stay on the nice list.
How you guys doing tonight?
Great, you.
Good, brother. Even better now that all you guys are on here with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, fellas.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's
Makes it
been
more special.
52
I can't believe Dom got on.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Well, he had to be good. He didn't have a
Rock on,
choice.
man. Rock on. You guys are awesome.
A lot could change in 4 days. He had to get on.
That's true.
But I don't know. It's
But
going to be
Dom is
interesting.
a good man.
Dom is a great man.
Absolutely.
Dom is a great man.
And
Well, it's going to be interesting what happens with the
socks
hobby.
this year.
Yeah.
What were you saying? My bad.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just telling Santa to bring Dommy some new socks this year.
Wait, I guess I got to show. I guess I got socks.
Oh my gosh.
Rainbow
yeah.
socks. Told you.
Okay, so he definitely
I
needs
think
new
I
socks this year.
myself.
Okay.
I should have stressed before No, I love those socks. Unless you buy me Met socks, I'm good. So I'm good. I'm paring down my collection. I gave a whole bunch away. So
Gave a whole bunch of socks away?
donated a whole bunch to charity.
That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I'm hoping you watch them
When
first.
you got like over 200 pairs, you gotta. I didn't wear them, Santa. You're supposed to be watching me, you creepy bastard.
There's only certain times that I can watch everybody. Remember, I saw you in the pink tutu. I'll never forget that. It's burned in my
Yeah,
memory.
don't watch me when I'm in the toilet, man. You know. That was
I'll
Batman.
make sure you're not making a mess.
No Roger Clemens socks.
That was Batman. That wasn't me. So
Batman
Just saying.
in a tutu. Pink tutu.
yeah, I can't curse on here, right?
Yeah, I'm not monetized. Do whatever the hell you want. I don't give a shit.
All right. Well,
Well,
then, you know what?
profanity.
Fuck you, Roger Clemens. I hope you rot in jail for the rest of your life, you fucking prick.
Okay, so this is what we're all doing for Dommy next year. Roger
Big-headed
Clemens does
scumbag.
little shout-out videos. We're going to pay to get one and have it sent to him.
Oh yeah, we
Oh, my
definitely need to get him
God.
on Cameo after this and send him the little
Santa?
We'll
Hey,
start
hey,
like a YouTube
Santa,
feud
if
between
you
Dom
do
and
that-
Roger.
Santa, I'm warning you. If you do that, I'm going to shove Rudolph up your ass.
How do you know he hasn't been there already?
That's how he got the red nose. Santa blood.
Hey, that's your prerogative, man.
Hey, you know, all we got to
Free.
look,
You do
or
for you.
we get Dommy to come to nationals.
Just saying.
We chip in for the meet and greet with Roger. And he can tell him how he feels right to his face.
We should do a little
And
meet
we
greet
film
at
it.
Yeah, I got no problem with that. He'll whoop my ass, but I'll bite him. He'll whoop my
I
ass.
say
but
we
I won't
send
bite him,
Roger
but I will
and
hurt him.
Cody there. We get him and his son there.
I tackle
We,
people for fun. Right? I may be an old lady, but I get beat up for fun. That's my hobby. Besides collecting cards.
Nice.
So, just saying, even at my brittle old age, I can hand out a beating if I need to. So,
Yep.
I'll just run away.
Mike and Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Mike and Anthony, on a legit serious note,
Yes, sir.
this is one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube.
Thank you.
When I get home, I unfortunately sit my fat ass on the couch way too much, but I seriously
Me too.
enjoy the heck out of what you guys do.
Thank you.
Entertaining. You have great guests, great topics. It's real stuff, right? We can relate to you guys. Huddle, obviously, I'm super close with you, Anthony. I've been following you for a long time, and anybody that's down with Mike is a buddy by default. But I really, really enjoy what you do. I think a lot of other people do too. It's definitely good stuff. It's one of the better things to watch on here. You know I start a lot of shit and I talk a lot of shit with the, F this and F that and boycott these guys. And I know I bust jokes with socks and stuff. But you guys really do a great job, right? There's very few of channels like this, right? It's you, it's Adrian and Mr. Enfuego on Saturday night. A guy like Carlos, it's some of the guys that you guys have brought on, right? Where you're legitimately trying to grow the hobby. You're putting the hobby in a positive light, and then in a not so positive light. When you bring on a guy like, HAIH, whatever his name is, right? Who comes on and, all due respect, he's got his lane, right? Somebody's got to, expose. Somebody's got to like tell the guy like us, me and a Matty Ice and Santa Claus's next door neighbor, Beast and Post and all these guys, right? Got it, like an Extreme Breaks, right? When he was exposing guys too, about just the right thing, right? We're getting positive vibes out of this, because you know what? I barely open cards anymore. Santa Claus's next door neighbor, Beast, does sponsorship videos for me, right? And say, hey, if you find this, open this for me, and then I don't got to go through it. I don't open packs anymore, right? It's gotten tiresome. What you guys do, the card sale, collabing with other people, like bringing light to, like Doug is doing. And I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but like Doug is doing, like Three Good Nerds is doing, Alan, Epiphany, the hobbyists, all doing these, the advent calendars and stuff, and just trying to spread love, man. That's the real part. Like the friendship is probably more important than opening the packs of cards now, right? Sure. Legitimately. Absolutely. For me, it's more fun hanging out with you guys. I got fucking cards everywhere. I got cards out the wazoo, right? And sure. It's just you guys go about it the right way. There's no clickbait. You're not starting drama. You're informing people. Think about this. You guys have been on now 52 weeks, right? 52 shows, and you've had somebody on new every single week, right? You're trying to kickstart a kid that's, trying to get his grading services on. You bring on a legend like Deafness. You've had Adrian and Mr. Enfuego on. You've done all this cool stuff. I appreciate the hell out of you guys, right? I mean, you chats just about every week. A couple of weeks ago, I couldn't stay awake, and I missed one when Ant was riding solo. But you guys make great content. You guys do excellent stuff for the card community, right? Legitimately, I appreciate the hell out of you.
Yep,
I really do.
We appreciate
Thank you.
Hey, think about it, and it was, this is 52, so you got to figure it was probably, about, maybe a year and 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, where, I threw it out to Anthony. I was like, hey, man, because he did a show early mornings. I did a show on reselling and everything, and you missed the camaraderie, you missed it just talking, so on and so forth. And we were like, yeah, let's do it and stuff. And then we were trying to figure out, well, what the hell are we going to talk about? Like, what can we call it, and so on and so forth. And what do we want to, do and everything. And it was like, look, we just want to come on, talk about the hobby, and just bring content to people that, on the normal collector's level, in a way. And I don't mean that in a bad way or anything, but when you look at a lot of these other ones, it's the guys that are, living and making content at a lot higher level, and you could only like look and go, wow, that would be unbelievable to see that, to hold that card in person, and so on and so forth, when we're just, we're the normal guy. We are the guys that are, going to the local card show and going through the dollar bins and the quarter bins and the dime bins and talking about our experiences and stuff, and bringing on other people to talk about their excuse me, talk about their channels and stuff, from that standpoint. But again, we appreciate each and every one of you guys and girls that come out here every Wednesday, to listen to us, talking stuff, and we hope, that that we can just continue to entertain you guys, that's
Santa had to take the reindeer out for a walk. Sorry.
Don West, Fleer. $1 million right here. It's Fleer.
We got to get Kenny on the
I'm
line.
laughing at that.
Gosh, I
Oh,
just
I'm
remember
I'm
that
laughing
was
at Dusty.
hilarious watching him on those channels. No way! Not another box of Fleer. Hey Corey, how you doing?
You know what's funny? Like me,
You get an 87 set, an 89 set. All for $99.99.
the best is like me and Marty were cutting up about Don West before it was even like cool to cut up on Don West. Like we used to always like, be watching like the QVC or whatever the hell channel he was on, and like it seemed like everything. He's like $75. It's like you get this press pass rookie card numbered out of 87 million. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like it's an incredible value.
There's only
It's very bad when you
56.
drink and you watch that show. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you got a stack of cards you can bet and mail to your house.
I had a box probably, it was wider than my desk and taller than my desk. And when did I buy this? And it had garbage in it, of course.
No worries, Rocky.
Now you got to answer to Kenny and
Yeah.
Mandy.
Oh my gosh, you're in deep trouble.
Oh boy.
Hey, no one ever made Thor apologize for
Hey,
eating his
hey,
sandwich.
Yes,
hey,
Tom?
Mike and Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What quick question for you. What and obviously you don't want to ignore your glorious panel. I don't know how this works. I don't go live very often, but what are your biggest takeaways from the year? And what are some of your favorite things from the streams from the Collecting for Profit podcast that you do? Right? What'd you guys? What's some of your favorite stuff? Without this being a clip show.
Sure. I guess. Good.
No, after you. Nope, you.
I was just gonna say, like, honestly, the biggest takeaway for me is the most important thing is the relationships and like the more personal things. I've spent too much of my time this year like focused more on like work, businessy type things, whereas like literally like the joy I get comes from like the relationships, like this type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like not so much like the actual card, but like what it represents. Like, hey, I remember I got this at this card show. I got it off of this guy or XYZ. So really for me, like that's the takeaway is more of like living in the moment and less of like trying to get to the next moment, if that makes sense. And just kind of enjoying the ride and the hobby for what it is. It's supposed to be a hobby and not as much of a grind, because I've found myself burn out a lot, you know what I mean? Just over like the last like year, you know what I mean? Just like between not feeling like I'm going to get anything out of boxes to where like I do get stuff out of boxes and that's like crap. Now I got to sit here and list hundreds of cards, you know what I mean? And like really having it as a goal while still working full time to like want to scale my eBay business, you know what I mean? So like just trying to juggle all of those things. Like I feel like rather than just enjoying the fact that I'm playing with cards, it became more of like hey, let's like make it more of like a grind than a hobby. So I guess really just enjoying the journey a little bit more with the people I'm doing it with, you know what I mean? Like getting to actually hang out with Michael every 52 weeks and not have to come in here and feel like, hey, this is a job, but this is like a privilege that I get to come here and hang out with a really good friend with like all of you guys, you know what I mean? So really, I guess that would be my big takeaway for the year. And going into 2024, I want to do more of that and kind of just smell the roses a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as far as as far as the show goes, it's just a matter of talking to people that I don't necessarily know that what I would have thought about talking, to them, whether it is, Carlos or Jesse from Card Lines, or heck, Loot Box and some of the other, guests that we have had on and stuff, just, from that standpoint. The other thing, and Anthony hits it right on the head. The relationships that we've gone ahead and been able to to build and everything. From talking to Anthony, so on and so forth, and then meeting him at the Nationals, 2 years ago, and then building this friendship to where it is, today and everything. Going to the Nationals this last, last summer, and actually getting to hang out two couple days with Matt and go ahead and rip cards with them and sit down and have food and drink and just talk, and not just about cards, but to get to know the people. The people associated with it and that type of stuff, and actually seeing the genuineness in people and the genuineness in them and the generosity that they give out. By all of a sudden it's like, hey, oh, hey, you open this box of cards. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to give these cards to this guy, these cards to that guy, and stuff like that. And it doesn't make a difference. It's like, you guys, go to the Rips and Chips, stuff like that, and I'll be like, hey, hey, I want you to give so and so cards to this person, and I'll double check and make sure. I'm like, you got numbered cards for that. I don't care. Send them. It's just that generosity. It's and the genuineness of the people and the generosity that they go ahead and they have shown. They've shown to me. They've shown to Mike. They've shown to us on the show and everything. And it's more along those, and what to look forward to, going. I hate to say more of the same, but still more of the same. But getting to know more of you guys better. I'm looking. Nationals is going to be even better because of where it's going to be located. And we're hoping we can somehow figure out a way to get Santa's little helper out there, to get Beast out there, even if it's for a day, to go ahead and sit down and hang out, walk around, but leave the convention center and go break some bread and hang out for a couple hours, shooting the crap, and having some food and everything. And that's, ultimately what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, these really are just pieces of paper with some color on them and stuff like that and fancy pictures. But it's the relationships that you build that really wind up making the hobby what it is. And I think we are the hobbyist type people. We're not sports card investor. We're not Gary V. We're not those guys. We are the true collectors, the hobbyists. We're the ones that are going to still be here and keep it going long after those guys really are like, yeah, okay, the next thing that it's going to be. That's all I got to say.
I think your next show, though,
Mike, I was smiling when you said that because I was. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Maddie.
I was smiling when you said that because I was thinking back to the parking garage when I lost the parking voucher or whatever. I'm still amazed we got out of that stupid garage. So
well, first we couldn't find your we couldn't find your truck at first. I parked over here, and then all of a sudden, what he's doing is we're running around with the fob in the hand. Beep beep beep. I think I hear it. Now, I don't know if that's it. Wait, I hear it all the way over there. All the way over there. Where the hell's over there?
The other parking garage.
All I gotta say is just don't listen to Theo when it comes to parking because he had me so messed up. I don't know.
And Rocky, I agree with you, brother. Well, I don't know if I'm going to hang out with a basement dweller when I'm there. That's the only problem. Not sure what they're all about.
Hey, don't put it on them.
I'll say what I want. What are you going to do?
For as many bad
characters,
for as many bad characters as are in this hobby, there's even more good people.
There is. See, that's why I think your next show you should have sports card investors and jabs. Be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah. What about doing a live jump in like this?
That would be cool.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot. We literally, I've been trying to see how I could almost incorporate StreamYard with an actual call-in show where you don't have to go ahead and come on video, where you could literally just call in. And I think there are ways to do it. but I was trying to figure out a way to do it without having to get some extra software. But I have to test it with Mike to see if I can make it work. You know, but we would love to go ahead and do, if, live meetups have to go somewhere. I mean, I mean, nationals is like the easiest one because it's the biggest one. It's a lot of people,
Yep.
it's one that a lot of people will go to. I mean, yes, there's the Dallas Card Show. There are bigger ones, from that standpoint, but I mean, we really want to do, yeah. I mean, we go to national, Collecting Profit will be live from the nationals without a doubt. We will be definitely be live, and stuff like that. And we're hoping that people can go ahead and get there. I guess we both said it a million times. I think Matt's even said it. And remember that night when we went, we went to have dinner and stuff like that. It's like you sit there and you're like, this is really crazy. This place. I mean, it's nothing like you think of, because most people, they think of the card show of the few rooms at
Yeah.
the Holiday Inn, or the hotel, or the old VFW and stuff like that, and now with video, with more people doing, more, influencers showing up to the nationals and stuff, you see the grandness of it, but you still don't understand it until your feet touch the pavement and you start walking around, right, Matt? I mean, even I think you said, right, that first time you were like, "The hell is this?"
I mean,
Yeah.
this was my first one. It was completely crazy. I mean, just I was overwhelmed when I first walked in. I mean, yeah, I was lost there for a little bit. So it's huge. So,
and it was about
and then the night that we did the battle, at your hotel. I mean, how many people were in that lobby?
Right.
There were 50 people in the lobby doing the same thing we were doing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then there was that little freaking kid. You had to be maybe 11 years old with a Zion case. Little, like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of the cheap seats.
He did come over to see my hit.
Yeah,
which
he
was
did.
good, but
came over to see the Bobby Witt autograph. But I mean, it's the togetherness that it brings. It's everybody coming together. It's the good. You look at what the card community has done. The group that makes that up, and what they've been able to do. For kids playing baseball who didn't have a pair of cleats and stuff, and being able to put money together by having sales and so on and so forth, and doing different things to donate money to causes, and and a kid wanted to play baseball, but he needed a new pair of cleats, and able to get him a new pair of cleats or a glove or whatever it may be, and that's really what it's going to be about. I mean, to me, if we're not taking care of, we are not mentoring and helping the younger generations understand that this is really a hobby first. Yes, you could. I don't want to say you could. I mean, yes, there are some that could make a living out of it, but look, I mean, you'd probably, I bet you'd have a better luck of trying to become, like, say, a professional athlete than you would being able to truly make a full time, really good income, in this market, the way it is so crazy without having a lot to begin with.
Mhm.
It's like, you want to make 6 figures in sports cards? It's awesome. You just need to start with 7 figures.
Very true.
You can get to 6 figures. You got to start with 7, but you can get to 6 without a doubt.
I think after a while it would get boring. I'm sorry. Unless, like you said, unless you have enough money to stock shelves with all the new high-end stuff, otherwise you're just gonna get bored of looking for the same crap over and over again.
Yeah. And if you are, I have to agree that, and if you're trying to go ahead and do it, I mean, the values only go up so much. I mean, it's not like, these, I think we're beyond it where it was like a stock per se, right? Where you buy low and you sell like really high.
Yeah.
I don't think the days of us going out and finding, going into, $10 boxes and finding cards that are worth a few hundred. I don't even think that's going to happen anymore.
No.
So how are you gonna, you'd have to come in with a bunch of money. I mean, look at Sports Card Investor. I mean, whatever it is, but he's going to start this sports card store the way he is. If he didn't have the backing to be doing it, he isn't some Joe that just has this great idea. Like, I'm thinking, I got, I rip blasters and megas from Walmart. I'm thinking I'm opening up a friggin' big ass store. No, it don't happen that way.
Do you think he secretly looks at a blaster box like, ew, what is this gross thing? Like,
Maybe.
I couldn't fathom like having that type of like hobby cash to just be able to like, you know what I mean? Like,
we all just get together and we'll go buy an 800,000 square foot place and open our own shop.
You know what though? I think he's in a unique position with his following. You know what I mean? To like really be able to promote that thing like in a unique way that I like. Outside of Card Collector 2, I can't really think of anybody that might have that big of an influence on a local card shop. Like I know Santiago Sports has one too, but like I don't really like. I haven't really seen like many people like putting out videos like, hey, I traveled all the way to like Santiago Sports' thing. You know what I mean? Whereas like Card Collector 2, you see people going to his shop all the time in vlogs and stuff like that. And I think like with even Jeff Wilson, whether you like him or not, like I could foresee a lot of people going to his shop to do content and stuff like that, just because it's going to be like a destination shop. Like, I don't want to say it's going to be like Burbank-esque, but I feel like he has the type of money to throw at it to kind of put it on that echelon. I don't think
we're gonna see Mike there.
I may be behind one of those windows breaking, man.
Maybe.
You never know.
How often would you see him there himself? Probably very rarely.
I would imagine he'll be there, but not like for work. He'll probably be there for like marketing. Like it would make sense to have like, hey, Jeff's going to be here for trade night or XYZ. So like people will come to see Jeff or like, you know what I mean? Like I would imagine they'll have that type of stuff. Right. Like they'll have certain times he's supposed to be there. But like, I highly doubt this dude's going to be putting in like a day's work there. You know what I mean?
And he's got his entourage. He's got what is it? Teapot, right?
Yeah. One guy,
and then the girl that interviews him, they've got huge followings. So there's others. So how often will they be there?
But it would be something similar to like the Pawn Stars. They're not always in that shop,
right?
They're only there in film. It'd be just like that, I think.
And I would imagine he'll probably do regular content there too, just because like he wants like obviously that to be like a buzzworthy place.
Well, there's talk that Sports Card Investors Studios will probably move and be a part of it. But John, I mean, you make a great point. It's going to be like a Pawn Stars where you travel to Las Vegas for vacation and so on and so forth. Man, you got to go by there. The sports cards people, it's going to be it's going to be in the same spot that the baseball team from Georgia plays in. So right there. So if you're going to go watch them play, it's good. It's going to be easy for you to. What are you giggling at? It's going to be easy.
You can't say it. It just makes me laugh every time.
I just can't stand it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it.
But what percentage of baseball fans do you think collect cards or would at least have an interest in seeing a card shop of Jeff's stature? Because I'm thinking even if it's like 20% of baseball fans might, like, that's still thousands, like however many home games the Braves have per year that they have potential to come, through the doors. That's just baseball fans. Like if you factor in all the other, and that's just because they're right by the baseball stadium. I'm talking about people like on their way or even after a game that might swing by. Like, like myself personally, like I could see myself going down there and checking out the shop with Michael sometime, you know what I mean? Just because of how cool it sounds like it's going to be.
Yeah. And I think to your point, because of where it's going to be located, if you are a baseball fan and you're the type that go, oh, hey, I'm a baseball fan, I collect cards. Going to that stadium to watch them seems like a fun thing to do. We could do that. Plus, we can possibly, we can go to, what is it, Sports Cards HQ or Cards HQ, and we might even see Jeff Wilson. Let's go. From that standpoint. So I think, I think John made a great point. It's like when you think about, it has the potential to be something just like that type of a thing where you're going to have people who are going and they not necessarily, forget that. How many people are going to go when they hear more about it just because they happen to go to a baseball game?
And just to get the picture of me inside the shop too.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I was here.
It's true.
Yeah. So
normally I would say like probably the local card shop isn't like the best investment right now, but I think like right now, like he's in a unique position. You know what I mean? Like he's going to have a lot better luck than like if any of the four of us would open up a card shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like night and day different just because of like who he is and like the influence he has. You know what I mean? Like whether you like him or hate him, like I said, haters are going to go there too, just to be like, oh, this place sucks or whatever. You know what I mean? So it'll be fun to watch regardless of what happens, because if it's like a disaster, then it's like, oh, everybody likes watching a train wreck. But if it's like really cool, then it's like, wow, this is something that's never happened before. Like,
I think he'll do all right because of where he's locating it, next to a baseball stadium. You can't get any better than that. You're going to have right now. No, a local shop, I wouldn't do it. It's just
you had one though, right?
Yeah,
you had it,
but it's not right now. I would not reopen another one. No way.
Look, I think he's smart. When you look at what he does at shows, he caters. He makes sure that he is always involving the kids in there, right?
Oh,
and stuff like that. Giving away stuff and everything. So I think that's another thing that's going to be the kids that the younger kids that are in this area that watch them. Like, oh my gosh, there's a shop, man. We got to go, Dad, Mom. We got to go. Right. So it's a combination of going when there is a game, but then think about it. They're only there 81 days a year or less, right? So there's gonna have to be other stuff to keep people going.
Close to the basketball or football stadiums down there.
No, not really.
No.
I'm wondering if maybe that's where they start stacking in, like, hey, Jeff will be here this day, Teapot will be here this day, Kelly's coming this day, or they'll try to maybe pull off of that. And then I would imagine like Jeff being Jeff will probably even try to bring other people in, whether it's like autograph signing, other content creators, that type of thing, to try to continue to boost the
he's going to have down months whether he likes it or not. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. But I think Dusty makes Dusty makes a good point. Where he says, "Hey, he'll sell it." You're right. Look. People with a lot of money are good at two things: making money and keeping money.
Yep.
And and you're right. He's not opening this up with the thought of, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and get out," or anything like that. It wouldn't surprise me. You wonder how much, he says he's putting his own money, but he has those other people. So, you wonder if he has the lion's share and all of a sudden it does really, really well and it's doing really well. Hey, I'm going to sell, but I still can be a part of it. I still got SCI's, studios in the back and everything and so on and so forth. So the location is great, and I think he will go ahead and he will do good. Look, he's going to do good in the beginning. He's going to, no matter what, you're going to have a crap ton of people again who will want to go there just to say they went there and they bought cards from there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can imagine the number of Instagram posts you're going to have of somebody standing outside with the logo back here on their phone. I'm at Cards HQ. Check me out, so on and so forth,
I wonder if they'll have a specific case just for his big league card, like to where people can come get that card and then ask him to sign it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I'm sure you'll pay $1 for the card and about 150 for his autograph, but you know.
Yeah.
He'll be one of the tickets at the National
Yeah.
that you get for
Oh boy.
getting your passes.
I'm just wondering about some of the little local card shops that are not that far, that are within a 10, 20 mile radius of that. What kind of effect it's going to have on them?
Well, I've heard that they're trying to buy out a lot of other card shops' inventories, like that they may have trouble moving or that they're just looking to get rid of. Like, as far as remember when I hit you up about hey, you might want to DM them, see if they need any of your, the wax that you have, because they're looking to buy out shops. So I would imagine the shops that are kind of going under, they're looking to kind of consolidate into theirs, which makes sense. I mean, any new business coming in normally looks at the ones that are floundering to try to see what they could pick up. But I know for a fact a lot of the local card shops that I'm friends with the owners that are smaller, they've literally even before Fanatics came in have been saying hey, I'm in the next several years would love to just sell and be done with this, because they're not super bullish on the direction of the market, you know what I mean? They're not super bullish on especially once things change and Fanatics takes over. Fanatics has already basically come out and said, hey, we need all of your numbers, we need your social media accounts, we need X, Y, and Z. So a guy that's 60, 70 years old that's been running a card shop for his entire adult life, there's no way he's going to be able to compete with a Burbank or, a Cards HQ or a Card Collector 2 shop or any of these new age shops that have all of the Fanatic metrics down. So obviously they're going to not get the allocations that they're probably used to getting in the past. And a lot of these old heads, man, they can't really last on just singles and stuff like that. You need to have the products that are going to have people keep coming in. So I've heard just locally in Pittsburgh, not naming any shop owners' names, but I've heard from more than one, and just over the last year or two that they're not super excited about the direction of things.
Dusty, I don't know what it is now. I was probably right around 20% on new stuff back in the day. You don't make a ton.
Thanks, Maddie. No, it's got to be difficult.
Bye, basement dweller.
See you later.
Way to get out of the basement, Maddie.
Why not?
Thanks for stopping in, man.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Only when I'm running.
Sorry, brother.
No, you're right. I mean, it's it's got to be tough with this shop because of knowing all the variables of what to carry and stuff like that. Like how much of the value box stuff do you carry versus how much of the higher stuff for the from that standpoint, because you never know from a day to day, right, John? I mean, I gotta believe it's kind of you don't know who's walking through the door at any particular point in time.
Yeah, you don't. And if you don't carry this, then you're looking to get it, and with at least with Topps, when you sign with them, you are stuck in getting allocated everything that they have. You can't just say I want flagship and that's it. Mm-hmm. You got to get flagship. You've got to get their football. You got to get their basketball when they have it. Your garbage pail kids, and all the other little stuff. You have to get at least a case of each of them. Mm-hmm. And if you don't sell out of that, you're out that money. I don't know if it's changed since then, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I that's what I was curious about from a standpoint of is it's different, a restaurant versus a lot of things, because the variety is so much, I mean, I don't know, I guess you can't just cater to, you know, one group of collectors or one level of collectors in that. It's not like a restaurant, right? You could be a high-end restaurant and everything you got is high end and you have that certain clientele come in, right? Like a card shop to me, you know, appears that you can't, you know, you can't do that type of
You
thing.
have to be across the board, otherwise you won't make anything.
Yeah. You know,
you're
and
not
then,
going to just have baseball collectors come in. You're not just going to have football or hockey or basketball. They're all going to be coming in. So you want to try to carry all that you can.
yeah. I mean, when I was in Birmingham, I went to a little card
What do
shop.
you
But
think?
I mean, what? Oh, yeah. And I went to, you know, a little
My bad.
card store, and the guy had product. I mean, he had new product, but he had boxes and boxes and boxes of cards everywhere. I mean, basically, the only free space he had open was literally enough for you to just walk around to see his like cases, and then even in the middle, he had shelving with boxes of $1 cards, $2 cards, $3 cards, boxes, and everything. Like you literally, you know, if two people were trying to walk down one way, you literally had to turn your body sideways so you could try to sneak through to get to him.
I have a shop around me that's that way.
Yeah,
it's really tiny, and you're just one lane. That's it.
Yeah, you know, so I can only imagine what it's like of trying to figure out, you're again hoping that you're having the right people come in to go ahead and buy a bunch of your stuff and everything. I mean, we think about, listing cards on eBay that are not going to sell. I could only imagine the same kind of thought process that goes in when you have a shop. You know that you're hoping that the stuff you put in a box, somebody's gonna the right person at the right time is gonna come in and go through that box and be like, oh my gosh, I need this, insert player name.
Yeah.
You know?
Out of curiosity, John, in your opinion, being that you've had a shop, for a new shop that's opening to be successful, like what are the elements that it needs to thrive, or like what are some like red flags that could like really just like I guess ruin the business before it even gets off the ground?
Your biggest one is, as they say, the location, where you are, proximity to traffic. Another card shop, if it's close by, you don't really want to do that because you don't want to step on toes. Money is a big thing. If you don't have enough capital to get started, don't even think about it, because of how much you have to buy. You're looking at, well, back when I was doing it, it was just an inventory alone was $150K, just in cards alone. That's not including the rental of the shop, the cases I had to buy, and everything else. Now I would imagine you're probably looking at $400 to $500K to start one. And like I said, right now with the card market being as volatile as it is, I think that's the biggest red flag right now from starting a shop. If you have one and somebody's selling it and they've already established clientele, you might do a little better. But you are going to look at losing money the first 4 years you're open, whether you like it or not. And it's just the way businesses are. If you look at any business, they'll tell you right off, first 4 years, you're not going to make money. You might break even, you might lose money, but you're not going to be able to pay yourself.
And you got to make sure that you can, withstand that. That's probably, that's the hard part also, because the problem you have is it's kind of like with anything, like you said, you're going to dump X number of dollars in that to go ahead and fill up your store. And best case scenario, you sell 50% of it, but you still got to buy 100% of you still have to buy 100% of your allocation the next time.
Yes.
So that's, until you can get, I
move up the levels of their little setup where you can, okay, well, now I've been with you for 30 some years. They give you that choice of what boxes you want, cases you want to get.
Right.
But now that Fanatics took over, they wiped all that away. Because I was talking to my LCS guy, and he's like, I had a contract with Topps. Once Fanatics took over, they wiped it away, and I had to reapply for everything.
Oh, wow.
So it makes it even harder for these littler shops to get in, because if they don't have, I think he said, 30,000 in sales per day or something. I mean, there was just astronomical numbers that they wanted to be able to stay on their allocation lists.
What card shop can? I mean, what? I mean, I guess maybe Burbank. I mean, like out of all the card shops in the United States, I mean, that number has got to be extremely low that can do that every day. I mean, heck, most of them probably can't even do that every week.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if they break too. You know what I mean? Because like I saw a comment in the chat. I can't remember who said it, but someone said breakers have better margins than card shops most of the time. And like I know some card shops, like for example, like in LA, like me and Marty went to a bunch of card shops out there. There's some literally you walk in there and it's like, where the hell are the cards? And they're like, oh yeah, we break. What the hell are you doing with the shop? You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, there's a lot of shops now that are making tons of money just off of like their breaking business. If they got a big enough, breaking operation going.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing that gets. I mean, like you're saying, like John, wow, and you think about, you'd have to buy, Big League, and you'd have to buy,
And you're not just buying one box; you're buying a case, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be tough. I can only imagine.
Now they don't force you. Now one, they don't. I know they don't because I've talked to him. Transcendent, they don't force you to buy.
Phew.
A definitive, you don't have to buy a case. The higher end stuff, you don't have to. But if you want to sell it, obviously you're going to buy a case of definitive if you know you can sell it.
Right. Mm-hmm. If you have the clientele, and they're going to come walking in there, and you go and stuff like that. I mean, you can. I mean, I'm sure you hope maybe you could make friends with if you have local breakers to you where you could kind of work deals out with them to where they're buying some stuff from you to help you move the product a little quicker and stuff from that standpoint. But I could only imagine I mean it's a great point. You figure with how volatile it is, you can literally you buy something today and you see what could happen to it. Like, I don't know. And especially when you look at when now it seems that the market is more geared towards chase cards.
Yep.
Right. It's the chase. It's the chase. It's the chase. So if you got to buy, a case of so-and-so, Bowman Jumbo, right? Bowman Draft Jumbo, you buy a whole bunch of that kind of stuff and everything. I'm really surprised with all the ripping of that the bounty card hasn't come out yet. It does that. I actually am very, very surprised with the amount that is being ripped of that product. Because you go on Whatnot, every other channel or every channel is breaking it. You go on, you look at any of the other guys out there, it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, we're a football thing. Oh, but we got, here we are, we're breaking Bowman Draft, and so on and so forth. So,
well, didn't that chase card already get hit by that place in Minnesota, Michigan, whatever?
No, they hit the 101.
Yep.
The bounty is the 12 of 50 with the, hey, if baseball doesn't work out, there's always football. Supposedly that's the one. And I forgot who it is. But I saw a post on Instagram that there's a buyer, a company, an LCS or something, or one of these bigger companies. Maybe it's David Adams or Steve.
David Adams again.
Yeah, they already have a buyer. They have someone who has already basically committed to paying $500,000 for that card.
And is that card worth $500,000? Not to me.
No, that's like we were talking before. Honest to goodness, I really don't. I mean,
the piece of cardboard with his writing on it, that's all it is.
If you look at it this way, like there's probably an equally low numbered Tom Brady RPA you could get for like a fraction of the price.
So, well, they said the gold ones, I think it was, or the some of the other to 50. I think it was just some of the either some of the base or the base gold not numbered were selling for more than his rookie card.
Because people, I mean, if you have money to throw away, hey. Because what does it say you send that card in to get graded and it comes back like a 8 or a 9? I mean, yeah, you're still going to get a little bit more money, but people are going to want to grade that card easily.
Yeah, I think. See that one, a 1 of 1. We were talking about before. 1 of 1, I can understand getting that graded and everything. But to me, if you have that 12 of 50, and you're in a break and it gets pulled, you fly there, you take it home, you fly back on the plane, and to me, that's a card you sell raw.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I know it probably won't go down in value if that's, let's say, an 8 versus a 10. I mean, I don't know if a 10, I don't know how much. I mean, if somebody's willing to pay $500,000 for it, how much more are they going to pay if it's a 10?
And that's where, for me, I would not put it on eBay. It would go to an auction house somewhere where you have those people that are willing to pay.
Yep. Or if there was that true buyer out there that's one of these companies know, and you could line it up or something along those lines. But we were talking about before. I don't really know of a 1 of 1 that I'd be like. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Fred Lynn has 1 of 1s out there. He's probably the only one that would be cool to have one. But there's like no modern player today, honestly, that it would be worth a valuable 1 of 1. Let's go ahead and get that right. If you're talking about like the big time stars or anything like that, there's no one in this like with the way I am with the financial, how much a financial a benefit that would be. It'd be very, very difficult to sit here and have that card in a safe when it could do so much more for me, where it really could do nothing there and potentially only go down in value.
Right.
I don't know how much more it could go up.
Somebody's that's the only one he signed that way.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think that the inscriptions are going to become more popular. And I think that like a lot of the people that do TTMs are going to probably start asking for that stuff more often. I think a lot of these signings, whether it's at the national or some of these bigger regional shows, like I just think that like as we're seeing this card, obviously it's jersey number, so that's another reason why it's a little bit more of a premium. But that wouldn't be a premium over the 1 of 1. This one is literally just because he wrote something catchy on there. So I think that as people start getting more and more of this stuff, like I've seen Ziggy say in a video that he's going to start targeting a lot of these quarterbacks that aren't licensed to sign in products with like some of their like big colored parallel rookie cards at some of these big things, you know what I mean? Like just because you can't get that. So like imagine going to a signing, like I'm not saying Tom Brady, but like somebody notable and just say, hey, can you sign something that is unique? Like if it's Herbert bolt up, or you know what I mean? Like I've seen Sports Card Dad had a Drew Brees autograph before, you know what I mean? So like something like that, I think could add a little bit more value long term, especially what we're seeing with this Tom Brady card, how like they even have like a Bill Belichick card now that says something like, yeah, Tom can hit, but can he throw, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of cool.
Who's next?
You see a lot of baseball doing that now, especially the Hall of Famers will put HOF and the year that they went in, and that I think
I like when they do that.
Yeah.
Yep. But who's next?
What, for them to do this with, like Tom Brady?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
because he was legitimately drafted.
If they were smart, do you know who they should pick next? Like, who's the only name that you can? Deion would be good, but the only name I could genuinely think bigger than Tom Brady is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And granted, he's exclusive with Upper Deck, but so was LeBron. You know what I mean? And they have the kind of money that they can get Michael Jordan autographs in their product if they want it there.
Yeah.
I think that like you've seen so many people chasing after Brady. Like, imagine if there's like Michael Jordan autographs for the first time in forever. There's going to be so many people trying to get them. And that makes sense in a baseball product because he was a professional baseball player that actually played.
Right.
Unlike Brady, who like literally was drafted, was in a system, and then not, he went with football.
Yeah.
But somebody that actually like, I feel like Jordan's just more of a fit. Like Dion would be good too, based off of that, or like a Bo Jackson. But I think really the only name, in my opinion, that's bigger than Brady is probably Jordan.
Yep.
Like he said, he actually played, even if it was in minor leagues, he actually still played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting. Is this the trend? I hope it. I don't want to say I hope it isn't, but I mean, you look at how successful it is. It would surprise me if it wouldn't be the trend.
No, I see it happening. Maybe not with all products, but definitely with some of the newer stuff.
They're going to need to do something because, like, with most people, like, getting jaded towards ripping, like, just in this one stream, how many different people were on the screen that openly admitted to ripping considerably less than they used to? You know what I mean? And a lot of it's based on, I don't get a good feeling after opening the box, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just too expensive, or whatever your reasoning is, you know what I mean? Like, it's true that a lot less people are engaging with the product. So with that being said, they need to do something to make people actually want to open the boxes again. You know what I mean? And whether it's like marketing with like a person like Tom Brady or something like that, or this whole the Victor Wembanyama thing they did where they had the meet and greet for everyone who pulled a to 99 and you were entered in this is my first ever, like stuff like that. Or like, maybe do like redemptions for experiences. You know what I mean? Like I think I heard Merlin say this, like put more redemptions or something like that for experiences. Like what if you could like win a Super Bowl tickets like out of a pack or something like that? You know what I mean? Like do different things like that to like make people want to buy your product. You know what I mean? Or like they have this stuff where Mike Trout will follow you on Twitter or like Instagram or whatever the hell it was. Like do something where you actually get to meet Mike Trout. You know what I mean? And if he follows you, it's like because he actually wants to like have some
not because he has to.
And here's the thing, like, is that Mike Trout even really Mike Trout, or is it like a bot? It's probably a bot. You know what I mean? Or some account that like some random person runs for him.
That's what I was guessing. It's whoever he hires that does his social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's
probably very few of the any of the sports figures that actually run their own social media. Very few.
I mean, honestly, I sometimes question if some of these like athletes that are collecting cards, like outside of the ones that you can tell genuinely collect cards, like a lot of these athletes that are opening packs and stuff, like, do they even give a crap about the cards? You know what I mean? Like, genuinely, probably not. Like, I mean, I'm sure some of them do. Like, I know AJ Dillon genuinely collects himself, but
was Phil Hughes. I think he's the only one who actually really. I mean, he hasn't opened anything in a long time, but if you watched him when he opened, he was genuinely interested in the cards when he was opening them.
Yeah. Like, for example, like if they're opening the pack, they're, oh yeah, I just pulled up, and they get excited about anything that's not them. You know what I mean? Like they care about the product, you know what I mean? Whereas like it's just like a guy opening some cards, not really understanding what they have, That's like me. Like I tried doing a UFC opening once, and I don't know a whole lot about UFC, but I was like, oh, I'll see if I can get some McGregor's or something like that. And it's like literally, I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. You know what I mean? So it's like I get that feeling sometimes watching videos of like certain athletes opening up boxes or doing XYZ, and it's like did the company just pay you a whole bunch of money to like sit here and open that box? Because it doesn't seem to me like you actually care about the box.
Well, that, and then they pull a big card too.
Mm-hmm.
They just so happen to pull. They just so happen to to pull a one of the bigger cards out of the product and everything. From that standpoint and everything. Rocky, they still have it here. Our shelves are flipping loaded in Walmarts and Targets because ain't nobody buying this stuff.
Yep.
Either that, maybe all the stores have
Target is, but
The only
I
stuff
can't
you
find
can't.
any holiday anymore there, but everything else is there.
Yeah, I was gonna say here the only thing I can't find is Lorcana. Everything else is like packed to the brim.
Yeah. I walked
don't
in
buy
somewhere.
Hobby Lorcana. You're looking at like almost $400 a box for that crap.
What?
It's like $300 and some dollars a box for the Lorcana. Yeah.
Wow. I still don't. I mean, I finally. I mean, you know, at one time it was like you couldn't find it, and now the last couple of Targets and Walmarts I've gone in, I've seen it. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, I was gonna buy a couple just to go ahead and open it and see what it is. You know, but I don't like. I wouldn't even know. You know, kind of like with UFC. Don't get me wrong. I'm the same way. I mean, the same type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, those 3 or 4 names. You know,
Yeah.
it'd be like if I open Lorcana, it's like, okay, I'm Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but somebody else would be like, huh?
And the crazy thing with the
are worth a
Lorcana
lot of
too,
money.
the market for it is really dictated off of the playability. You know what I mean? Like outside of like getting like a legendary one that like is full art, like you're basically getting value off of the stuff that does well in the game. And unless you actually play the game, it's like you have no idea what's what. You know,
Kind of like Pokemon. I don't play it. I have no
exactly
clue if I
like
bought a
Pokemon.
pack what I got.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
The only thing I got to say, my LCS, I get really good deals from him.
That's awesome.
Well, you're consistent with them too. I mean, you know, that
like
helps.
he's got Chrome Black right now, which is I wouldn't stay away from because I've seen nothing but crap come out of him.
Yeah.
Instead of 150, 120 bucks.
Nice.
He had Inception for 130. I mean, it's all really. He's got Museum Collection for $289 a box. Everywhere else is over 300.
Yeah.
It's like.
I don't know. It's but to your point, I mean, you know, where's the pricing going to go? You know, and stuff like we were talking about earlier and everything. And even Rocky went ahead and said a little sooner, saying, that it's Bust a Hobby like did, in the 90s and stuff. And that was one of the things that I've said a bunch of times is that, we see what kind of sort of happened with Panini when all of a sudden they started losing the licensing and losing the stuff. Like it seemed like they didn't give a crap. The card could come out sideways and they wouldn't give, off centered sideways. The printing job could come out at an angle and they wouldn't give a crap. They'd still put it in boxes and everything. And
that's the new horizontal parallel.
Yeah, a new 45-degree parallel. But what's gonna what is gonna happen when a Fanatics has everything, and then do we from a printing quantity again? We see what's happening right now where they don't have control over just one license with everything that's happening with the one of ones and all the other problems they're having. What will happen when they have everything? Where's pricing gonna go? I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's not like they have competition right now because they sell baseball and, Panini sells baseball, but they don't have the license, so people don't care as much, right? There's not really a butting of the heads there in that, right? But what happens, what happens when it is just one and nobody else can do anything? I mean, I don't know. It scares me.
I think we're going to see
Good night,
prices
Kenny.
of baseball go up to like football and basketball prices at some point. They're going to drive us out of the collecting. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Kenny.
Because it's no longer for the kids like it used to be. You're not finding packs for under $2 a pack. And that's for big league.
Not normal kids, at least.
Well,
kids with rich parents, maybe.
Exactly.
Well, the funny thing is, though, but even if you do, there's no way in hell they're going to put anything. They're going to try and market to a kid. They ain't throwing a friggin' forget it, 50,000. They ain't not even throwing a friggin' card that might be $10,000 in a friggin' $2 pack.
No.
So if you're a kid, you're so it's still not really going to be that much better for the kids. It's gonna be even more. That's gonna be more like junk wax era than anything.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. So,
and if they keep overproducing like they're doing, it's gonna end up that way.
Yeah.
Especially the flagship.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's funny, but I wonder where some of this stuff, actually goes. Because remember Chrome Platinum, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw it, and all of a sudden it was gone. Right? And you really couldn't find it out in retail that much anymore. Well, all of a sudden now I'm starting to see a little dribs and drabs of it.
Yeah.
Where the hell, where was it? I mean, was it being held by Topps? Was it being held obviously it was being held somewhere, but why wouldn't the vendors go ahead and be getting it, and putting it out and stuff? So, I mean, like, when is you going to see the end of some of this stuff?
No, Topps probably had such a warehouse stock full of this stuff from the beginning of the year, if not last year. It just still sit there.
Yeah.
Or then all of a sudden you'll see, big sale on Topps. We're trying to get rid of this stuff.
Right.
Or they'll sell it cheap to the LCSs for specials that they're doing.
But you were thinking about it. You were talking about before about different stuff. I mean, who thought Bob friggin' Ross's cards would come out to the prices that they came out to?
Yeah.
I mean, that was nuts.
It's and how long is it till Fanatics takes over Upper Deck? If they do. I don't see that happening, but then they literally have everything.
I'm surprised they haven't pushed yet.
Well, I think it's going to be hard because I really, in my opinion, I think when everybody else went ahead and ditched the NHL because of what was going through, I think Topps. I think there might be some loyalty there, with NHL and Upper Deck. Now,
yeah,
if they could get more popular, right? If hockey could get more popular, then I could see Fanatics going in and doing, and going right. But if hockey kind of stays as that number 4 or 5 sport, I don't see them making a play for it because the dollars to donuts aren't there.
I'm surprised they don't go for that Marvel license.
Yeah.
Don't say too much. You never know what they're working.
Sorry, Mrs. One. Good night, Rocky. Merry Christmas, brother.
Yeah. They'll go after that. They'll probably go after the Disney stuff. Who knows? They have literally everything else.
I mean, there's nothing. They're going
to get wrestling eventually. We know that.
Well, they have WWE. It'd be interesting to see if they go after AEW as well.
I thought Panini still had with that lawsuit. They were still.
They have it right now, but they're taking it over eventually.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And AEW is what, Upper Deck, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, AEW, Upper Deck.
I mean, I don't watch them, but
I mean UFC.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I said to me. I know people go, well, what's the matter? People bitching and moaning, when Topps went ahead and all. I go, I don't remember a time when Topps, it was just Topps, right? Because you had Fleer, you had Score, you had Donruss. They were different companies.
Yep.
They weren't. At that point in time, they were not all under Panini.
No.
They were individual companies and everything. So the whole thing about, well, no one bitched and moaned when Topps had everything. And I was like, well, Topps never had just the sole license for everything like it's going to be in a few years.
True.
Because I got my I can pull out my 89 Donruss and show all the logos on them. and I can, and the score and all the other kind of stuff,
They all had their hand in a piece of the pie, all of them.
Yeah. But but
to speak on another, what about Leaf? What happens there? They don't have a license, but I like some of the look of their cards, but does Fanatics take them out too?
It'll be interesting to see what happens there because they were just purchased by with like some orange advertising marketing group or something like that.
A holding company. Yeah. I mean, obviously a company that is literally probably waiting. They probably bought them with the hopes that at some point in time in the future, Fanatics will come knocking on the door. Now, I don't know how that works from licensing, from a standpoint of is like when they do their pop culture and stuff, is each person, actor, actress, or whatever it is, is that an individual contract? Or are they signed? Okay, so
I think that's individual there, I think.
Yeah, they do it individually. Just like how Panini is still able to get certain autographs because they have individual contracts with the players as well.
So nothing stops them as contracts are going up of, if I don't know, if Ed O'Neill per se, right?
Yeah.
If when his contract or something is up, Fanatics doesn't offer him a deal to sign some of his, because man, the Ed O'Neill football card and an Ed O'Neill, man, imagine that. Oof.
Oh yeah,
Ed O'Neill football card.
The best part is you could put that in an NFL product because he actually played for the Steelers in preseason.
Yeah.
So like you could literally have him in like a Steelers uniform, or you could have a variation of him in a Polk High uniform, which would be even cooler.
Like technically, Topps has that Bowman U college football. They could have had The Rock do a couple cards and sign them.
True. That would be really cool. Just
Goldberg, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Well, Brock Lesnar even in NFL, because actually Brock Lesnar is in Panini product, but I'm surprised. I don't know if maybe he didn't do any autographs because of the WWE.
Could be.
Honestly, I wonder if he just didn't stick long enough to have an autograph, because he was basically only with the Vikings for a training camp, I believe, and he got cut. He came close to making the team just based on who he was, but
Flair were good looking cards into that. Back in the day. Like, hey, Dwayne, we got this card of you. We're gonna put it as an insert. But
and he writes on it, I'm gonna layeth the smacketh down on you.
Yeah.
Or do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Like I mean, could you imagine that card inscription of what? I mean, that would. If you talk about a chase, holy cow!
With him in his college uniform, oh yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people were. I'm just not sure how many of them there were out there, man. It's going to be interesting to see how many of them show up.
Has there been any talk of hockey or any of? Well, I guess Fanatics and Panini have both been accused of this, more so Fanatics. But has there been talk of that in the hockey market too? I mean, I guess I just don't follow it close enough to really know.
I couldn't tell you. We need our Canadian friends here.
Yeah,
they would know that.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean the closest thing to hockey content I get is watching Carlos's podcast because there's a lot of hockey guys on there. But yeah, I mean if it's not a Penguin, I don't really care. And even if it is a Penguin, half the time I don't care.
I think hockey is another one of those. They are that fringe. 4 or 5 sport. Very, very limited. I think, to me, in a way, I'm not trying to compare them to baseball, but in a way, I think they are more regionalized. Like baseball is more regionalized than football, basketball being more, countrywide. Merry Christmas, Dami.
Yeah, it's crazy the following that NFL and NBA have in other countries. You know what I mean? Like, just like Australia, like football is like crazy popular over there. Or like Asia, basketball is like crazy popular. You know, like granted, you got baseball popular. Like
soccer got popular here. Yeah, it wasn't for years, and now we've got pickleball.
Yes, we did.
That's true. We got pickleball players.
I mean, and I think Fanatics also has all the tennis deals, don't they? Too. I think they picked up all them.
Yeah, I think they do. I've seen
and golf. I think those two.
Tennis.
It's like, can you leave something for somebody else? I mean, where's the FCC for the monopolies?
It seems like the hobby doesn't get like ever enforced on any of that type of stuff that like every other business does. That's what's so weird about it. It's like, oh, you're a sports card business? Sure, go ahead and lie, cheat, and steal like you're Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Now there's an autograph I'd like to have.
That would be an awesome autograph.
All right, Dusty. Merry Christmas, Buddy. Have a good one.
I'm actually going to do the same because it's 12:30.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping in, John.
Appreciate you being here,
buddy.
No problem.
Appreciate the continued support.
Yep. Yeah. And don't forget to check out Huddle tomorrow for his rip and ship if he's still doing it.
Yes, I am. Last one of the year.
Nice.
He's got all the good bang. He's gonna run out and buy some Transcendent for us to open. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you got that. And it's gonna be a free break.
There you go.
Yeah, free break and Transcendent. You're such a nice guy.
Send me a tiny case. I'll be okay.
Like I said, you want to make six figures, you got to start with 7.
Sometimes 8, just depending on where you're at.
True.
All right, thanks, Johnny.
Yep, have a good one, fellas.
You got it, man. Merry Christmas.
This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate all of you guys who have joined us this evening and come into the actual stream. We also obviously appreciate you guys that are in the chat as well.
Thanks, Brendan.
I do just want to remind you guys, next week we will have another episode over on my channel, and we have a special guest coming on, Mike from Junk Wax Hero. So, guys, make sure you set your calendars and reminders for that one. Should be a pretty fun stream.
Yeah.
Same bat time, different bat channel.
Yeah. But as always, everybody, again, I'm not gonna. I don't want to speak, for Anthony, but I know for myself, I am humbled by the praise that you guys give us for this channel, and they keep coming back and listening to a couple of dudes who just like talking about the hobby and stuff, and we like I said, I appreciate it more than I think a lot of you guys realize it. It's you make it easy for us to want to come back every week, in my opinion, from that standpoint. So we are very humbled, Anthony, I'm very humbled, that I get to share the airways with you every single week and talk about talk about this kind of stuff, and just, really no boundaries, no limits, just open, honest conversation. Yep. That's all I think we've ever, from the beginning. I think that's really all we ever wanted to have out of this show, was just open and honest communication, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
Yep.
So that's all I got. Thank you very much. Appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll catch you next week on the Big Man's channel. See you over at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.